today on an all-new Dr. Phil. The media dubbed them a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde.
Police say two teenage sweethearts blaze a trail of crime across the South.
Reportedly eluding police.
Accused of theft, writing stolen checks, and burglary.
In a daytime exclusive.
Not everybody knows the whole story.
The jailhouse interview.
You were in love with this girl?
Yes.
But she was 13.
I had no clue.
What made these teen lovers go on the run?
I did all this to protect her.
Did somebody need to protect her from you?
The emotional breakdown. Now.
No money, no plan. Did you think you were going to get away with this?
From Grayson County Detention Center in Kentucky, here's Dr. Phil.
Teenage sweethearts, dubbed by some as the modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, made headlines when they allegedly embarked on a dangerous cross-country crime spree, reportedly leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. The Daily Mail was all over this story and followed Dalton Hayes and his girlfriend's every move.
This was a very big story for DailyMail.com. These were two young lovers on the run. They traversed 5 states. They were not to be found anywhere, and the hunt began.
We begin with the multi-state manhunt for a 13-year-old and her 18-year-old boyfriend.
Police in several states are looking for unlikely suspects, 18-year-old Dalton Hayes and 13-year-old Cheyenne Phillips.
They are being called a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, a teen couple on an alleged crime spree through the South.
The two left 2 days before Hayes was to appear in court on burglary and theft charges.
Investigators say the fact Hayes was a suspect in other robberies may have prompted him to take off.
The teenagers allegedly burglarized a home, stole a truck, and crashed it into a fence.
It sounded like a bomb went off, but it was the door hitting the building.
Jim McGrew says the teen stole his truck, then took off, crashing through fences before running into the woods and ditching police.
Police say the couple may have been involved in a series of home burglaries before making off in a stolen red pickup.
They were spotted in a South Carolina Walmart accused of using stolen checks to get $40 in cash.
Then the pair traveled to Georgia, where they are accused of stealing a silver 2001 Toyota Tundra. Authorities say the truck had 2 handguns inside.
13-year-old Cheyenne Phillips and her 18-year-old boyfriend Dalton Hayes may be somewhere in Florida this morning, on the run with a stolen truck like this one and loaded guns, according to police. A situation they say is growing more dire by the hour.
Back home in Grayson County, Dalton's mother's worries are only growing.
I found out her age the day that they left. And so I take her phone and I said, hey, the police are looking for you.
The teenage couple on the run for 14 days was taken into police custody in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Hayes was arrested and charged with being a fugitive from justice. Phillips was placed in the care of Children's Services.
So what on earth do these two say drove them to flee? 18-year-old Dalton Hayes has been extradited from Florida and is sitting behind bars in this Kentucky jail right now, facing a number of criminal charges. Is this on-the-run Romeo a hard-nosed criminal? Was he just trying to protect the love of his life, or was something else going on? Today, in a daytime exclusive, I'm inside the Grayson County Detention Center to talk to the so-called Clyde of what some have called a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde story. I want to point out that during the entire interview, Dalton's lawyer, Landon Tingle, was present. You will hear him often advising his client not to answer the questions. But Dalton was insistent. He wants his side of the story out there. He feels he has been mischaracterized in the media, and he wants to set the record straight. You've been incarcerated here now for how long?
For almost a month.
For almost a month. I want to acknowledge as we begin here, you have a public defender, and he's here in the room.
Yes, sir.
And he has advised you against doing this interview, but you've decided to do the interview anyway, correct?
Yes, sir.
You were arrested in Florida, right?
Yes.
When you left here, what was your intention? Where were you headed? Did you have a plan?
I advise you not to answer that.
To be honest with you, Dr. Phill, I didn't have much of a plan. She had advised me that she was being harmed at home, and I just wanted to protect her, keep her safe.
And what did she say they were doing to her?
beating on her.
Did she give you any specifics about what?
Hitting her in the face.
Hitting her in the face?
Yes.
And had you seen bruises? Had you seen damage to her face?
Yes, I have.
And her family has denied that and said that wasn't the case, but you disagree.
I know for a fact that she was being abused.
And she told you that?
Yes.
And you saw the results of it?
Yes.
Because I have not seen a single picture that had any bruises or marks on her, which doesn't support your claim that she was being beat on.
Actually, in this picture right here, she wore makeup that night, and on her left eye, right up underneath it, it was black.
Now, at the time that the two of you left, you had some charges pending against you, right?
Yes.
And they were for burglary?
I advise you not to answer any of these questions.
Yes.
How much time were you looking at on your prior charges? Do you have any idea?
I probably would have got maybe 7 years and been out in 6 months on shock probation.
Did that figure into your leaving?
No, had nothing to do with my leaving.
Okay, so you weren't leaving to escape prosecution
I wouldn't answer.
On this other thing?
Wouldn't answer that question.
I left because I wanted to protect her. That's it.
That was the only thing that was on your mind at the time,
only.
was to protect her.
That was the only thing, is to keep her safe.
Had you planned it, or was it kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing?
Spur of the moment.
Had you known her for a while?
Yes, I had. I had known her for going on 5 months.
Okay. Were y'all dating?
Yes.
Okay. When you were dating her, did she tell you how old she was?
She had told me that she was 18 years old. She told me that her birthday was May 19th to 1996.
Did you know any of her friends?
Yes, and they told me the same thing.
You were how old at the time?
I was 18 years old.
Have you heard the term Bonnie and Clyde?
Bonnie and Clyde was kind of like two people that I've always liked. I watched the movie Bonnie and Clyde several times. I think the news broadcasters took it way out of proportion because there was no Bonnie and Clyde. There wasn't nothing like that.
Because in the movie, these two people, they had guns, they killed people, they killed law enforcement people.
Yes.
And you didn't do anything like that, right?
No way.
You never...
Never even thought about it.
You never threatened anybody with a gun, you never
threatened.
shot at anybody, you never
Nope.
killed anybody. So for them to characterize you and this young woman in that way was like a huge stretch, right?
Yes.
Well, I want to give you a chance to set that record straight, because you've been characterized in the media. I got a list of articles here, of all these articles, Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde. You're not saying what you did was smart.
Oh, but what I did was not smart by no means. I could have went about it many different ways.
It wasn't the smartest thing to do, but the things that you did do certainly are not, it's not a fair comparison to somebody that went on a murderous spree.
Yes, it's not no fair comparison at all.
So you did this on the spur of the moment because you were in love with this girl?
Yes,
You wanted to protect her?
Yes. There's not a day that don't go by that I don't think about her. For a matter of fact, 2 days ago I called my mom and I cried to my mom because I miss her. And some people think it's a bad thing because she was 13. I had no clue she was 13. I did not know nothing about it. She advised me that the day that we left my house, that she was 13 years old and that she was in school. And the only thing I knew to do was to protect her and keep her safe, and that's what I did.
So when she said she was 13, what did you say? You had to be shocked.
To be honest with you, Dr. Phill, I was really shocked. I was kind of like, why would you lie to me all this time? And that's the only thing that come to my mind, and then to keep her safe.
Were you engaged?
Yes.
Had they ever talked about running off and getting married or anything?
They hadn't talked about running off and getting married. They talked about getting married.
Yeah.
Because he asked her to marry him in my living room right in front of me.
And what'd she say?
She said yes.
So he proposed in front of you?
Yes.
And he wanted you to see?
Yeah.
Why?
He wanted me to be a part of it.
Did you like her?
Yeah, I liked her. She was a sweet girl.
Were you excited?
Yeah, I was happy about it. I mean, you know, I was happy that he found somebody that he could, you know, be happy with.
Tell me how that went. You're there, he's there. You two know it, but she doesn't.
He had the ring, and he pulled it out, and he told her, he said that he loved her and he wanted to spend every day of his life with her and ask her if she would marry him.
Did he get down on one knee, or
Yes,
did he?
yes, he did.
He did?
Yes.
Do you plan to marry her?
To be honest with you, Dr. Phill, I still love her, but no. I do not plan to marry her.
You don't plan to marry her? Why not?
Because I'm not doing this time for me. I did all this to protect her and keep her safe, so she didn't have to go back home to her family.
Did it work?
No.
So you were in love with her. You're in love with her now.
Yes.
Did she ever get pregnant?
Yes.
I advise you not to talk about it.
Did she ever tell you that she had a miscarriage?
I advise you say.
I'm going to go with my lawyer's opinion on this one and not talk about this.
Okay. All right. Did she ever show you a picture of an ultrasound?
I'm going to go with my lawyer's opinion.
Okay. Is there a chance she's pregnant now?
Coming up.
Did y'all ever come close to getting caught?
I'm going to say no.
So you had no money, you had no plan. Did you ever plan on coming back?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill, she claims she's an outcast.
She says she's a victim. They say you spoiled her.
Did her family abandon her?
You're turning tricks every day, right?
I had nowhere to go.
Or did she walk out on them?
You said that I'm this manipulative liar.
You are. You lie about everything.
I stole your credit cards. I wrote bad checks. I smoked. I slept with boys. What am I lying about?
Everything.
That's tomorrow. We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with runaway teen Dalton Hayes.
One thing the teen is insistent on is when his relationship with Cheyenne started, his not knowing her real age. The two went on the run, eluding authorities over the last 2 weeks before police caught up with them in Panama City Beach.
Rumors have swirled that the 13-year-old girl that Dalton left with could be pregnant with his baby. These rumors have not been confirmed. Was she pregnant when they left?
She said she was.
She said she was pregnant?
Yeah, she told me she was.
You say how far along she was? Had she been to a doctor?
She had told me once before that she had been to the doctor, but I knew it was a lie. She said she went to the doctor, and she said, well, I had to leave before the appointment was all the way over. She said, I had to pick my brother up at school, and the doctor's going to mail me the rest of the paperwork. I knew right then that she was lying because an OBGYN doesn't do that. None I've ever seen.
Right.
And she showed me an ultrasound picture, and she was supposed to be 6 to 7 weeks at this ultrasound. In the picture, you could see the fetus. It looked just like a little bean, but you could see it. You can't see anything at 7 to 8 weeks, so I knew that wasn't her ultrasound. Come to find out, her dad's ultrasound picture from his last child, who's a year old, was missing.
Is there a chance she's pregnant now?
No.
Okay. Now, when you left, you were scheduled to be presented to the grand jury
the very next day.
The very next day. And you knew that, right? But that wasn't on your mind. Your mind was to get her to safety.
Dr. Phill, can I just tell you how it started?
Please.
Her family reported her missing, and I told her...
Before you left?
Before we left. And I told her, I said, let me take you home, and then I'll come get you, and everything will be all right. She latched onto me, kind of like a pit bull, and she cried. And that's when she told me, please don't take me home. I said, well, I have court tomorrow. I said, can you hide out until tomorrow? And she advised me no, that she was going to leave. So my first instinct is forget about court. I'm going with her. I'm going to keep her safe. And that's what I tried to do.
So you're saying she was going anyway?
Yeah, she was going in. That's
whether you went or whether or not, she was going anyway.
Yes.
So was this a situation where you're saying you kind of went with her?
Yes. Like
instead of her going with you?
Yes. People took it all out of proportion. I did not force her. She's the one who told me that she was running and she did not want to go home.
But she was 13.
Yes, I had no clue. She did not tell me she was 13 until we left my house. And that's when I had a warrant signed for my arrest.
Did you ever plan on coming back?
Had no plans of coming back to the state of Kentucky.
You were gone?
I was gone.
You in the wind, you weren't ever coming back?
Never coming back.
Where were you going to wind up?
In Panama.
The country of Panama?
The country of Panama.
And I've heard the stories that what you wanted to do was take her to see the ocean before you had to go to jail. Is that true?
That is not true. She did want to go see the ocean, and I was going to take her with me to the ocean in June. It just so happens that all this came up, and we ended up at the beach.
Your mission wasn't to get her to the ocean before you had to go to jail?
No, that was not my mission.
That wasn't your mission?
No.
Your mission was what?
My mission was to keep her safe. I had to get her away from her family.
Okay. Did you consider any alternative, like calling Child Protective Services or Department of Child and Family Services?
I did not, because I can tell you that if I would have called them, that they would not have helped her out at all. And I know that for a fact, because my whole juvenile life, I was in and out of jail, rehabs, group homes, camps, all over silly stuff. I didn't know no other way to go about it.
Right. So you left here, and you left in a red pickup truck, right?
I'm not going to speak on that.
But just tell you what the allegation is, that the police say that you stole a red 2006 Toyota Tacoma from a cattle farm.
I'm not going to say whether I did or didn't.
Let me ask you something. I'm going to ask you this hypothetically. I'm not talking about the 2 weeks that you were on the run. If you were going to steal a car or a truck, hypothetically, would you hotwire it, or would you find one with the keys in it if you were going to steal it?
Well, being you're not talking about the case, I feel that this won't incriminate me in court. I would find one with the keys in the vehicle.
Okay. From the 5th through the 11th, where were you? You allegedly had a stolen check that was presented at Walmart in Manning, South Carolina. According to the Manning police chief, that's you, that's her. That's in the Walmart in Manning on the 12th.
That's true.
Did y'all ever come close to getting caught between here and there?
I'm going to say no.
No, you never got close?
No.
You weren't recognized? People didn't see? Were you aware that you were on the news?
No, I had no idea I was on the news.
You didn't know you were on, you didn't see your picture, you didn't walk in and look up and see yourself?
I had no clue.
On the news? You didn't see that?
Had no clue I was on the news.
The alleged crime spree of 2 teenage fugitives on the run.
The 2 are accused of eluding police.
Those young suspects were dubbed the teenage Bonnie and Clyde.
You didn't know that people said that the 2 of you had run off together or any of that?
Had no clue.
You thought you were off the radar?
Yes.
Just that nobody was looking for you?
Yes.
The long arm of the law finally caught up with Dalton Hayes and Cheyenne Phillips in a parking lot in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Bay County Sheriff's Office, Panama City Police, Panama City Beach Police Department, and the U.S. Marshals surrounded the vehicle and gave them absolutely no way out.
Did you ever see your mother pleading for you to come home in the media?
I had no idea. Actually, we were on the beach, and I ran across this guy, and he told me that he seen my mama on TV. He said that your mama's begging for you to come home.
He recognized you?
Yes, he recognized me. The first thing he told me, he said, "You're the new modern-day Bonnie and Clyde." And that's when she started laughing. And I said, "It's not funny." I said, "This can get both of us in a lot of trouble, so you just need to lay back, and we're gonna lay low for a while."
You were, in fact, arrested in Florida on the 18th in a Toyota Tundra that you allegedly had stolen in Georgia.
Yes.
Okay. Were you armed?
No, I was not armed.
There was never a time that you used a gun against anyone in any way. You didn't threaten a gun, you didn't brandish a weapon?
Nope, I never seen a gun.
Did you have any money when you left?
Had not $1.
You did not have $1 in your pocket when you left here?
No money.
When you left without $1 in your pocket, how did you plan to feed this girl?
She did not go hungry. I always managed to feed her, and I would let her eat before I would even take a bite of anything.
Did that worry you?
Not necessarily, because I can live off the land.
So you had no plan. You just, we're out of here.
Yes, that was her idea.
But do you understand that's really impulsive?
Yes.
That's not the smartest thinking you've ever done.
No, it's the dumbest thinking I've ever done.
Yeah. Was this dangerous?
This was very dangerous.
In retrospect, If they thought you had abducted her, could you have been shot and killed here?
Yes.
Okay, so you had no money, you had no plan. You were due in court the next day, so you decided this is a good plan. I want to take this 13-year-old and we're hightailing it. We're out of here because you're going to protect her. Did somebody need to protect her from you?
Coming up.
Difference between 62 and 57, not a big deal.
Yes.
Difference between 18 and 13, there's going to be a lot of people in America say that's a big deal. If she lied to you about her age, how do you know she wasn't lying to you about being abused?
We now return to a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde or confused teens in love.
Authorities have been looking for 18-year-old Dalton Hayes and his 13-year-old 8th-grade girlfriend, Cheyenne Phillips. Last week, Hayes' mother received a text from her son that said he was fine. Phillips sent her mother a text around the same time asking for $100.
Hayes is facing several charges for the alleged crimes he has committed in multiple states. Phillips, the 13-year-old, will be treated as a juvenile.
Did somebody need to protect her from you?
No. I would not harm her. There was no reason for somebody to think that I took her against her will, because I didn't. And that is a fact, and whoever says different, they're wrong.
Do you understand that you've been charged with second-degree rape?
I do understand that.
Is that fair?
That is not fair at all.
Why is that unfair to you?
I'll give you a little bit, Dr. Phill, but I can't go into detail with it. Not everybody knows the whole story. I'm not a bad guy. I have got letters from people. He was a man, I think he was 62, talking about how he fell in love with a girl who was 5 years younger than him. I've also got a letter from an elderly lady talking about how she understands my situation.
You're getting letters from people saying, hey, I understand, 5-year difference between 62 and 57, not a big deal.
Yes.
Difference between 18 and 13, yes. There's going to be a lot of people in America say that's a big deal because that's a child and you're an adult. As an adult, you should know that child does not have the ability to make adult decisions. That child does not have the ability to give consent. That child does not have the ability to understand the consequences of her actions or her decisions, and therefore, you as an adult should not put her in a situation where she has to make adult decisions. What do you say to that?
I never put her in a situation where she had to make an adult decision. My theory is, if she can lie about her age and say that she's a grown-up, that she can handle the grown-up consequences that come with that. That's why she is what she is today.
And
that is my theory on that.
Did you ever meet her mother?
Yes, I met her mother.
Did her mother not tell you how old she was?
No.
She had to know you weren't 13.
Yes. That's obvious.
Did she object to you being with her daughter?
No, actually, Sherry liked me. Sherry told me that I was a good guy. Sherry's husband, Wade, he liked me. Said that I was a great guy.
Does that strike you odd that a mother wouldn't say, wait a minute here. You're a grown man. My daughter's 13. Well, get your hands off of her. What do you...
Yes, that does. Because if that was my daughter's not going to be dating an 18-year-old.
So she lied to you early on?
Yes, she lied to me throughout it all.
And you fell in love with her while she was lying to you?
Yes.
And you had the opportunity to walk away, and you're saying it was too late?
Yes.
If she lied to you about her age for 5 months, how do you know she wasn't lying to you about being abused?
Because I have seen marks on her face. Well, she went in my bathroom at my mama's house and put makeup on just to hide her bruises from me, because she did not want me to know.
Could those have been from a fight with a girlfriend? Could those have been from something else?
They could have been from something else, but I'm going to believe her on that. That's what she told me. That's what I believe.
So she lied to you about her age?
Yes.
But you believe her about the abuse allegations?
Yes.
Her father says it's not true and they're a well-thought-of family. They've already denied that. They said it's not true, so those are allegations, and they deny them. We spoke to the young girl's father, and he said he is her custodial parent. He says things are overwhelming right now, and he declined our offer for an interview. But he absolutely and completely denies Dalton's allegation that his daughter was abused at home. We'll be right back.
Coming up.
Were you driving or was she driving? Do you know the name of the man whose truck you allegedly left in?
It sounded like a bomb went off, but it was the door hitting the building.
I've actually spoken to his wife. She wanted me to tell both of you.
We now return to a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde or confused teens in love.
Last week, the pair was spotted inside a Walmart in South Carolina. Authorities were worried about their increasing brazenness. The last truck they allegedly stole contained 2 guns. Their alleged crime spree spanned 5 southern states, and their exploits prompted comparisons to fugitive lovebirds Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow.
I read that you said in the media that you had a couple high-speed chases. Did somebody chase you?
I'm not going to talk about that because that could hurt me in other states.
If you were chased, were you driving or was she driving?
I'm going to discuss that.
Did she ever drive?
Yes.
So there were times when y'all were on the move that she did some driving?
Yes.
Did she ever want to come home during that 2 weeks? Did she go, wow?
To be honest with you, Dr. Phill, you ain't even got to finish the question. No. She begged me not to take her home because I was so ready to come back home and get this jail time and do it and get it over with. No, she not one time asked me to take her home. When I would tell her, let's go turn ourselves in, she would say, you go turn yourself in. I'm not turning myself in.
Do you know the name of the man whose truck you allegedly left in?
No clue.
Well, the man's name's Jim McGrew, and this is a quote from him. They stole my truck and took off, crashing through fences before running into the woods and ditching police.
It sounded like a bomb went off, but it was the door hitting the building.
Apparently, this truck was in a garage-type shed or building, and the door wasn't completely closed when you were backing out, and so it hit and bent the door really badly and made a really big noise. Would that be what he's talking about here, the big noise?
I'm not going to discuss that.
I've actually spoken to his wife. She wanted me to tell both of you that they are really praying for you and that they really forgive you both.
You know, it's kind of obvious, Dr. Phill. Sorry about this, but I'll go ahead and say it. The red truck, they got me on camera.
I know.
And if I get them released, I would go back to jail just to go to them and tell them that I was sorry. Because I sit back and I think about the things that I did, the things that I've done, and how I hurt others. And now I realize that people, they work hard for the stuff that they get. And then people go on the spur of the moment and tear those things up. And if you ever have contact with them, because it's obvious I'm not going to be allowed to, we tell them that we appreciate their prayers and that I am very sorry and that I have a lot of restitution to pay and they will get their truck fixed.
Was there any relief when you were caught?
There was a lot of relief. To be honest with you, I was glad to be caught. I was ready to come back home. And I can still remember the first question the U.S. Marshal asked me. He gave me the phone and my sheriff was on the phone. And Norman Chafin said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, just please come get me and take me home." I was ready to come home. I was ready to see my mom more than anything.
The sheriff says he's received as many as 5 and 6 calls a day to his office here in Grayson County.
Dalton is hard-headed. We know that. You got a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old who's supposed to be in love, but, you know, if he really cares for her, then he would take her someplace safe.
I've spoken to Sheriff Chafin, and he mentioned that you got on the phone with him, and he asked you if you were okay. You knew he was sincere, because he's known you since you were younger.
Yes.
He was sincerely wanting to make sure you were okay.
Yes. And if I'd have said no, he would have made sure I was okay.
You were relieved to come home because you knew she was going to go somewhere that she would be safe.
Yes.
Why wouldn't she have been safe going there before you left?
Because they would not have took her there.
There would have been no reason for her to get in the system?
Yes, none at all.
What is it that's really important to you for people to understand about you as they look at this situation?
I want people out there to know that I did not do it to hurt her. I did it to keep her safe. Because not only then did I love her, but today I still love her. I want people to know that I didn't do it against her will. I did not force her to leave. She's the one who said that she was running, and I could not let her go by herself.
What would you say to those people that would say you wanted to protect her, but that you were the threat?
She was the one who begged me. She is the one who pleaded to me not to take her home. She is the one who told me she was being abused. So I thought that I did the right thing by keeping her safe, by not letting her get beat on. But it's obvious some people don't look at it that way.
You leave here on the 4th, and you're arrested on the 18th. That's 2 weeks. Were you having fun? Was this a big adventure?
Coming up.
The way she looked at me, she was the most happy girl alive. I would do it all over again to protect her.
Did you think you were going to get away with this? What was the last thing you said to her?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. She claims she's an outcast.
Have you guys abandoned her?
I had nowhere to go.
But her family says it's a lie.
What am I lying about? Everything.
That's tomorrow. We now return to a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde or confused teens in love.
The Grayson County teen who was on the run with his girlfriend was in court today. This young man, Dalton, is going to stand trial for 11 different counts, including second-degree rape, robbery, and taking a young girl across state lines. As for Phillips, officials won't tell us where she is or what charges she may be facing since she's just 13.
Was this a big adventure?
I'll give you some detail on it, Dr. Phill. That's just because I know people's gonna think what they want to think. People's gonna say what they want to say, and that's okay. But the look on her eyes when we was at the beach, the way she looked at me, the way she presented herself, she was the most happy girl alive. I would do it all over again to protect her.
Were you wrong to leave here with a 13-year-old girl?
Yes. And you know what, Dr. Phill? If I would have known she was 13, I would have never spoken to her.
Are you in contact with her at all?
No.
What was the last thing you said to her?
I love you.
Anything else?
No.
What was the last thing she said to you?
I love you.
Do you miss her?
There's not a day in this jail that I don't think about her. I don't know if she feels the same way. I'll probably never know if she feels the same way.
Did you think you were going to get away with this, or did you think, you know, I'm going to run like hell, but we're going to get caught?
That's funny, Dr. Phill. I'll answer that question for you. I knew we were going to get caught. I knew what I was facing. After she had told me her real age, I knew what I would come home to. But she thought it was all a joke. She would laugh about things. She'd think everything's funny. And it just so happens when we were arrested, not everything's funny. When the cops got us, she told me, she said, go somewhere. There's nowhere to go. So they put us both on the ground. And I told her, I said, I love you. She said, I love you too. That was it.
Was it worth it?
To keep her safe, to know that I didn't have to send her back home to get beat on, it was worth it. But on the other hand, it wasn't worth it, because now I'm looking at 10 to 20 years.
Why did you want to do this interview?
Because I wanted people to understand the full story, not just what the news broadcasters are saying about me. That I'm not a bad guy, because I did not ever once hurt her. Maybe some people will change their view on me and not look at me as a bad guy.
What would you do different if you had this to do over again?
Coming up, what finally made Dalton break down and cry.
I understand that you've gotten some difficult news.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. She claims she's an outcast.
She says she's a victim. They say you spoiled her.
Did her family abandon her?
You're turning tricks every day, right?
I had nowhere to go.
Or did she walk out on them?
You said that I'm this manipulative liar.
You are. You lie about everything.
I stole your credit cards. I wrote bad checks. I smoked. I slept with boys. What am I lying about?
Everything.
That's tomorrow. We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with Dalton Hayes.
What would you do different if you had this to do over again?
If I had this to do over again, I would call the only cop in town that I really trust, and he might have been able to get her in a better place.
But you wouldn't have broken off the relationship even though you learned she was 13 because you say she lied to you and you fell in love with her.
If I had it to do over again, like I said, I would have called that one cop, and it would have never come out she was 13.
I understand that since you've been incarcerated here that you've gotten some difficult news about your father as far as his health.
My dad was diagnosed with throat cancer, but I just found out yesterday, and it seems my family wants to keep things from me while I'm incarcerated. I think it's next week they're putting a feeding tube in him, and my dad's not in the best health as of right now. It's hard on me, but I don't know what else to do with it.
You scared for him?
I really am scared that my dad's not going to make it. That's what hurts me the most.
Has he been to see you?
No. I seen him at the sheriff's office on the 22nd when they brought me back to Kentucky. I seen him for like 4 minutes, give him a hug. He told me everything's going to be all right. It's kind of hard for me to stay strong, especially with me being locked up. And just say something did happen to my dad, I wouldn't be able to go to his funeral because I'm a flight risk. It's kind of hard to accept things, even though you can't change them.
If you had a chance to say something to this girl today, what would it be?
If I had a chance to see her, look at her, tell her that I love her, tell her that her eyes still shine brighter than the stars do, and just tell her that everything's gonna be all right. And that's all I'd tell her.
You're obviously looking at doing some time in
the penitentiary.
In the penitentiary.
I accept the time that I'm gonna do. I don't look at it as a long time. I look at it as a time to get my education, time to start college, time to change my life around where I can do things. Because I got a problem. My problem is with drugs, in particular spice, which is that fake marijuana. I was really bad on that.
Were you on drugs when you left Kentucky?
I was.
Were you on drugs while you were gone?
No.
But you're going to use this time to get yourself straightened out, get yourself educated?
Yes, I'm going to get my GED, want to start college, try to prevent anything like this from ever happening again.
Dalton's mother, Tammy Martin, says her son is not dangerous, that he's a good kid who made some bad decisions. She says she couldn't be more thankful that he is safe and sound, even if he is behind bars. What do you think should happen here?
I think it should go through the court system like it's going, and, you know, when Dalton gets his sentence, serve his time, and hopefully while he's in the jail, he can get his GED, and when he gets out, maybe lead a productive, happy life.
So you believe he should be accountable for his bad choices. You just don't think it should be to the point that it defines the rest of his life?
Correct.
Was this the act of a hardened and vicious criminal, or was this the stupid impulse of a kid?
Stupid impulse of a kid.
And you don't endorse an 18-year-old running away with a 13-year-old?
No.
Coming up.
I want to be real clear on what my position here is.
We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with Dalton Hayes.
Do you feel like I've given you a fair opportunity to tell your story here today?
I feel you have.
Is there anything that you wanted to say that you haven't had the opportunity to say?
Actually, there is.
Let's hear it.
I was in trouble all throughout my juvenile life. 3 months and 21 days after I turned 18, I come to jail on 2 felonies. I don't know about most people, but I listen to a lot of country. That's what I like, and I listen to some Merle Haggard. There's one song that always comes to my mind. And it's called Mama Tried. And my mom worked days, nights, evenings, it didn't matter what it was, to support her 3 kids. I was mama's boy, so obviously, you know my mama tried.
Mama tried to raise me better.
She gave everything she had, but I just decided not to listen, decided to take things into my own hand all the time. But if I could go back, I'd change a lot of things just for my mom.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. I want to be real clear on what my position here is. I think what you did was an incredibly bad choice. I think for an 18-year-old to be off with a 13-year-old is wrong at every level. There's no excuse for it. There's no justification for it. It is wrong, wrong, wrong. I don't think you're an evil guy. You just had really bad impulse here and made a really bad choice. I hope that you take the time that you get and do what you said and get yourself cleaned up, get yourself educated with some skills so you can become a constructive member of society. You're very young, and this can be a bad memory that fades by the time you're 30 years old, 40 years old. You can put this behind you and turn yourself around, and I hope you do that.
I'm going to.
Don't waste it. You can do this, and you guys certainly are not Bonnie and Clyde. You certainly didn't kill people. You certainly didn't hurt people. You certainly haven't been characterized fairly, and you've told your story today, and I'm glad you did. This is a cautionary tale. Because what we're talking about here is an 18-year-old young man who made a really bad decision at so many levels. Running away with an underage child is never acceptable. That is never okay. And if you're a young man or a young woman, a young teenager, and you feel like you're trapped, find some adult that you can trust, whether it's a teacher, a counselor, a pastor, law enforcement, someone that you can talk to. Don't take the law into your own hands, because when you do, you're going to wind up on the wrong side of the bars. We're going to be watching to see what happens with Dalton Hayes and see what the penalties will be, and there will be penalties. I want to thank the Grayson County Detention Center for their cooperation and hospitality. Thank you for being here today. I want to hear what you have to say. Go to Facebook or Twitter, #ConfusedTeens. Thanks for being here.
Today on Dr. Phill.
This is where the magic happens, baby.
She's a cougar.
I'm 58, and Oleg is my cub.
And proud of it.
Men my age are in rehab or they're dead. I think in the younger mindset.
I can think young all day, but I have a mirror.
Older women with younger men.
We're all adults here. Well, most of us. Are you in love with her?
To an extent, yes.
Oh, this sounds solid.
They have good bodies. Some of my ex-boyfriends did not have good bodies, and I love them just like a big teddy bear, just like Dr. Phill.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Today, all right? It involves pi. You guys know pi, right? You do it to class. But pi does not add up to 3.14 today, because it involves a woman whose name is Pi. And her age adds up to 58. Okay, she doesn't mind us saying that, so I'm not in trouble. And we have Oleg, who is 24. You guys are so far ahead of me. Come on, act like you don't know where this is going. If you subtract these numbers, God, I hope I get this right, you wind up with a slight difference. 34 years, okay? Now, I know there's a lot of debate about this kind of thing. Now, given the difference in their ages, you would probably guess they're mother and son. At least act like you would guess they're mother and son. If they are, it's a really creepy relationship. But in fact, they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, Pi says she's a cougar and Oleg is her cub. Even though it's more common now for older women to date younger men, such relationships still raise eyebrows and make headlines. 68-year-old actress Susan Sarandon went public about her relationship with 37-year-old Jonathan Bricklin earlier this year. Meanwhile, across the pond, 47-year-old British film director Sam Taylor-Wood has 2 children with her husband, Aaron Johnson, 23 years her junior. There's no doubt that the cougar lifestyle still brings on stares and questions from concerned loved ones. But Pi says she doesn't care what anybody thinks or what they say about her and her cub, Oleg. Take a look.
My name is Pumpkin Pie, but people just call me Pie. Come for the food, stay for the pie. I love younger men because one thing they have is hair. I just can't go for the bald guys. Sorry, Dr. Phill. I love you, but N-O. I met Oleg through a dating website. We're both into animals, the environment, food, and love to cook. I'm 58 and Oleg is 24. Based on the definition of cougar, I believe I qualify. Oleg is my darling little cub right now. He's gorgeous. Orlando Bloom ain't got nothing on him. Even since high school, I have really loved younger men. Sex with younger men, in my experience, they're just ready to go on a dime. This is where the magic happens, baby. The motion of the ocean. My waterbed. Honey, sexual relationship is really just the icing on the cake, the whipped cream on the pie. It's just a great perk that comes along with younger men. I don't see myself as a mother figure to these men, but I see myself, and honest to God, as a mentor. Anyone that has an issue with me going out with younger men, love is love, baby. You never know where you're gonna find it. Amen. Yes.
Okay. So bald guys just don't do it for you, huh?
I'm sorry, gorgeous. Can I just make a comparison? James Franco or James Spader? Come on.
Where do I fit in there? You don't know that this isn't a solar panel for a sex machine. You don't know. I could be gearing this up. I drag her in here every day. She just...
That's right, baby.
Now, Pi says she gravitates toward young and hot men. So you're looking for the physical here, right? It's okay if they're smart, but you don't care if they're dumb?
No, I love smart, but I'm a Libra, and Libras love beauty.
Oh,
so
God.
I always sort of go towards the beauty.
I'm not saying Oleg is not bright. I've never met him. I don't know. He actually does seem like a bright guy.
Bright and sweet.
I met 24-year-old Oleg on a dating website. Oleg says he saw Pi's profile, and he just had to reach out to her despite the 34-year age difference. Take a look.
Pi is very vibrant, very alive. I've always gravitated towards older women. Pi is the oldest woman I've dated. She does not feel like someone that's 58. When I hear 58 in my mind, it does portray a senior citizen. She is young at heart. I haven't been able to find the chemistry with women my own age. They're very distracted, very flaky. Pi has a lot of life experience, so I look to her as a mentor to some extent. I like to be taken care of by my woman. I like to be pampered. Pi takes care of me. She caters to me. Society accepts older women with younger men as completely normal. I don't see why me and Pi can't be accepted as well. If someone says that someday you're gonna dump Pi for some younger girl, I simply tell them I'm living in the moment, I'm having fun, and nothing else matters.
Amen.
Okay, So you're just in the moment, right? And so if you're having a good time right now, then you're not too worried about going forward.
Yeah, I'm not.
So do you think you're likely to be with pumpkin pie here
I can answer
in
that.
10 years, or do you know or care?
I can answer that as well as I can answer what will the coin land on, heads or tails. I just wouldn't know.
Yeah, and you're okay with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Pie and Oleg say they have some things in common. I made a list. They both love to party and have a good time. They both love the entertainment industry. They both enjoy alternative music. Both are food fanatics and like to cook. All right, now Pie and Oleg may be living it up in their relationship, but Pie may end up paying a hefty price because she could be losing her best friend of over 15 years because of this love affair. Now, Pie's friend, Therese, is it Therese?
Therese, yep.
She's going to join us next and tell us why she thinks she is deluding herself. We'll be right back.
Pie's close to 60, and he's 24. What could they possibly have in common? They're decades apart. I think Pie likes young guys because she has a mommy complex. No guy wants to date his mom.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil.
My parents hate Jason.
Are they meddling?
We have tried not to put our nose in their marriage.
I mean, you did wear a black dress to her wedding.
Or just concerned?
I've been taught I need to submit.
You're a pastor, right?
Yes.
You are an abusive man.
No.
Outrageous in-laws.
She tells me that they're not even having sexual relations.
Oh, that's false.
You ought to be out of that.
That's tomorrow.
Someone had asked me if I'm ever threatened by young, hot women that would come around Oleg and I. Absolutely not. If someone's with me, they're with me. I don't worry about anyone leaving me for a younger woman. If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do.
Well, we're talking about cougars and cubs, and I'm not talking about cats. I'm talking about older women and younger men. Now, we want to hear from you. Would you date someone considerably older or considerably younger? So go to Twitter, and if you say yes, sure, use the hashtag just a number. If you say no way, use the hashtag age matters. Okay? Now, 58-year-old Pie, 24-year-old Oleg have been in their cougar-cub relationship now for 4 months. They say the 34-year age difference is completely irrelevant. They're happy together. They don't have any problems. But not everybody supports their love affair. Pie's best friend of 15 years, Therese, says she doesn't want to be there and have to pick up the pieces when Oleg breaks Pie's heart. In fact, Therese says she's on the verge of ending her friendship because of this relationship. Take a look.
Pie and I have known each other for 15 years. Pie's completely wasting her time with these pretty boys. It's superficial. Every time I turn around, she meets some 25-year-old guy. Pie's close to 60, and he's 24. What could they possibly have in common? They're decades apart. There's so many things wrong with a woman close to 60 dating somebody in their early 20s. First off, what if he wants to have kids? Pie can't have kids. I think Pie likes young guys because she has a mommy complex. She likes to take care of these guys. She likes to nurture them. No guy wants to date his mom. Pie's really trying to hang on to her youth by dating younger guys. Inevitably, he's going to dump her and she's going to get hurt. Pie's a party girl. She likes to have fun. And these guys are drawn to it because she draws them in because she's very aggressive. So when I tell her to date older men, she said that she's not attracted to them or they're married, but there are plenty of men out there that are single. I'm at the end of my rope with Pie. I'm thinking of just really ending our friendship until she realizes why she does this pattern. I just think it's ridiculous she dates these little boys.
Okay, are you married or single?
I'm single.
Do you date?
Yes.
Guys your age, not your age?
Older.
Older guys?
I like a little jolly.
Yeah, like how older?
My last boyfriend was 66.
Uh-huh. And do you mind saying how old you are? Don't if you do. I mean, some women don't like to say that, and it's rude for me to ask. I'll move on. Okay, but there's
that was old. That was the oldest for me. Usually they're 50 or a little older.
Okay, but there's an age gap there. Why is that okay for you but not for her?
Pi and I are different. Pi, like you said before, she mentioned the music, the fun, the entertainment, but there's more. I mean, there's no spiritual foundation. I don't even know if they talk about, if they have any beliefs. You need someone that's going to help take care of you. More security for her. I mean, that's my hope for her.
Well, you have issues with this. I made a list of those too, and here they are. Oleg is immature and a user. He's just a pretty boy with a good body. Pi is wasting her time with Oleg. He will leave due to the 34-year age gap. So, how do you know he's a user?
That's right. How do you know?
It's just the pattern. It's a pattern that...
His pattern?
No, the pattern that she has with these guys.
Oh, that she gets a lot of people that use her.
Well, they want to see what they have. You know, she knows a lot of people, and she promises them the world. Are
you using her? I mean, like for her connections and all that sort of thing?
Just having fun.
Yeah, having fun.
Yeah. You say that she provides stability and never questions your actions.
Yeah. Isn't that like the perfect girlfriend?
I'm sorry?
How much awesomer does it get than that? You never have your questions.
How much awesomer can you get than
to never have your actions questioned.
I've never actually conjugated awesome into a verb. So awesomer. So somebody that just anything you do, anything he does is okay.
Yeah, of course.
So if he calls and says, hey, I was going down Melrose and I saw this girl that just, I mean...
Smoking hot.
I had to pull over.
Babe.
And we're going to go out tonight, and so let me catch you tomorrow. That's okay?
I wouldn't have it.
I'm asking her.
Well,
you ventriloquist?
I don't mind anyone looking. Are you kidding? Why not? I mean, I was surrounded by beautiful women. But he wouldn't do that if we're in a relationship.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Of course he wouldn't.
Oh, hell no.
No. If he saw some 20-something hot body walking along there that gave him a second look and they started chatting up at the Coffee Bean or something, one thing led to another, and then he calls you and says, hey, can't make it tonight, I'll see you tomorrow. Would you be okay? Would he tell you that straight up? And if he did, would you be okay with it?
Would you tell me that straight up?
Yeah. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take another girl out.
Because that's what you're saying that's going to happen eventually, right? She's going to age out, and he's...
Yes, and he's going to hurt her, and I'm going to have to pick up the pieces.
Aw.
Yeah, because do you think in the dating arena that you are competitive with a girl 30, 40 years younger than you? If so, what's your competitive edge?
I think I am 34. I forget that I'm 58.
Yeah, but let me remind you, you are.
And because I was in the music business all my life and did nightclubs, I was just surrounded by younger people, so I just don't think in the older mindset, I think in the younger mindset.
Right. But, you know, I can think young all day, but I have a mirror.
Yeah, no, you know, well, that's why I go to low lighting, low lit places, little candlelight here and there.
And you're lovely. I'm not saying that you're unattractive. I'm just saying that do you think you're competitive in the dating market with those 20, 30, 40 years younger than you?
Well, yeah, I think it's a whole different issue. I'm never going to look that way again, but if you look at the pictures on my refrigerator, I did.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I was hot, baby.
But you offer different things.
Yes.
You are more nurturant than they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, educational, you know, things to discuss in life that he has never, you know, had someone to discuss with. Absolutely.
So you're just enriching him.
Enrichment.
All right, next, Pi shares her top 10 tips for dating younger men. You're going to want to hear these.
She doesn't give them a chance unless they're beautiful or they have good bodies.
Some of my ex-boyfriends did not have good bodies, and I love them just like a big teddy bear, just like Dr. Phill. Look at Therese is one of my dearest friends. Therese feels supposed that I'm dating younger men. Therese is worried that I won't find the man of my dreams. Therese should get on the bandwagon. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a younger man. I mean, what is she thinking?
Well, 58-year-old Pie says she is a self-admitted cougar who loves dating younger men. She is currently dating Oleg, who is 34 years her junior. So if she was his mom, she would have had him kind of at the end of the childbearing recommended window. So yeah.
Yeah.
He certainly could have children, and she could be their grandmother. Now, here are the top 10 tips that Pie has for dating younger men. You gotta be fun-loving, right?
Yes.
So you can't be all fuddy-duddy.
It gets boring.
Yeah. You can't be a bore. You can't nag.
Yeah.
Because if you do, you'll remind him of his mother.
Correct.
All right. Does she nag you at all?
No.
No.
I wouldn't be here.
You what?
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. You have to ignore the stares when people are looking at you.
Oh, I think
right?
of the stairs because I might fall down.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
You just come to those stairs, you just think young and just fly right over.
Right.
You must have a natural chemistry. You can't force it.
Of course,
it's got to be. All right. And don't lie about your age. You got to be heads up about it, right?
Yep.
And you got to allow yourself to be vulnerable. What's that mean?
Well, to me, vulnerable just means, you know, affectionate, caring, you know, cuddly, romantic.
And you say don't take yourself too seriously.
Yes.
Oh. And you say keep it interesting, go out a lot, do a lot of things, stay on the move.
Yes.
And keep it sexy always.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, baby.
And you think what's going to happen is she's going to actually fall for one of these Olegs. And I say one of these because you think they're interchangeable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are.
And you think she's going to fall for one of them, and then when they leave, it's going to really break her heart.
Well, Dr. Phill, she does fall for them.
You've seen it.
Absolutely, time and time again. And I'm here, and I'm always have to hear, and I have to
And
hear.
what does she say about it? Because now she's saying, oh, it's just all fun and fancy and fun. We just go music, and we make pies, and we smear them on each other, and we, you know, all of this. And then, but then she comes to you and says, what?
When all the fun's over and they've gone, and then I have to, you know, be there for her to build her up.
What does she say? What does she say? What is hurt about her? Does she feel abandoned? Does she feel...
She feels abandoned. She feels taken for granted. They promise her a lot of things, and, you know, nothing comes to fruition. They last for a little while, and then they disappear.
And she's telling a different story than you, because you're saying this is all fun and games, and she's saying, no, no, no. She comes crashing down hard, and I'm there to pick her up.
Okay, so wait. Can I just point out one relationship that I had in the past that was married, had children, lied the whole time, put a ring on my finger, and broke my flippin' heart. Okay, so hello, what's the difference? I mean, that was a man my age that I thought, you know, we had a future. And that came crashing down.
Yeah, and this is prepared.
What?
And this is more like she's just ready for... She knows that I can go, you know? It's like we're just having fun right now, and that's it.
Enjoying life, enjoying life.
But what she's saying is...
We're be dead soon.
What she's saying is you get hooked, and then you get hurt.
Well...
That one was supposed to stay.
Do you think he's going to be with you? Do you think he's going to be with you 10 years from now?
You never know. Do we know?
No.
He's shaking his head no.
No, I said we don't know.
You may qualify it now, but you said...
I said we don't know. I said we don't know, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
You never know. And the other issue, too, is men my age are either in rehab, lying and cheating, or they're dead. So I got a real small pool going on here lately.
Dr. Phill,
we'll go out and there'll be some nice older men, and you've got to give them a chance. More closer to her. She doesn't give them a chance unless they're beautiful or they have good bodies. But I want you to give them a chance.
I don't always look for the good bodies. Some of my ex-boyfriends did not have good bodies, and I love them just like a big teddy bear, just like Dr. Phill. Look at him.
You look good, Dr. Phill.
Yeah. We'll go on to break, and we're going to have another cougar couple join us. In this case, it's 52-year-old Bella, and she says her relationship with 32-year-old Eddie is the best she's ever had. We'll meet them next.
Eddie's 32. I am 51. Sex with Eddie is definitely the best sex I've ever had. He's got a lot of stamina. Older men just don't cut it.
Fifty-two-year-old Bella says she discovered the cougar lifestyle after her 23-year marriage ended. Now, Bella has been dating a man 20 years younger than she is and claims it's the best relationship she has ever had. Take a look.
I would say that I am a cougar because I enjoy the company of a younger man. What I love about younger men is their passion, intimacy, and their energy. I was married for 23 years. After my divorce, I started going on dating websites. I met Eddie on a dating website. What's your price? We're cougars, me cubs. Eddie's definitely a cub. Eddie makes me happy. Eddie makes me smile. Our chemistry is definitely off the charts. When I turned 40, my sex drive went straight up. I have sexual needs that only a younger man can fulfill. Sex with Eddie is definitely the best sex I've ever had. He's got a lot of stamina and he's a very passionate person. Older men just don't cut it in a sex department. To anyone that says that I should be with a man my own age, I say I love being a cougar and I don't care what other people think because I'm having fun.
Well, Bella's 32-year-old boyfriend Eddie says he loves her. And the fact that she's the same age as his mother is completely irrelevant to him.
Bella and I have been dating for almost a year. Bella would be considered a cougar, and I would be considered a cub. I've always had a thing for older women since I was very young. The oldest woman I've ever dated is 61. I love the older ladies. Bella is hot. The sex is absolutely great. I think she has a fantastic body for her age. Some guys my age are out to go party and hit the clubs and, you know, chase girls and get drunk and, you know, do all that sort of stuff. I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of looking more for something a little more stable, a little more solid. Sex with older women has always been more satisfying. There's less inhibitions, less insecurity, less self-consciousness. I do have a couple friends who tease me about it. We're hanging out and they'll point at an elderly woman with a walker and they'll make fun and say, hey, Ed, you know, why don't you see if you can hit on her or something. My feelings for Bella are absolutely real. I don't question it. I don't think anybody else has a right to question it.
Well, Bella says most men around her age don't have the energy to keep up with her. How so? You mean in all areas or what?
In pretty much all areas, I would say. Mostly physically.
Yeah.
At least the ones that I've encountered.
Yeah, you mean sexually?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have a appetite for healthy sexual appetite.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all adults here. Well, yes. most of us are.
Most of us.
Just kidding, sort of. Eddie says older women are an easy target. What does that mean?
I said that?
Yes.
Oh. I wouldn't say they were easy. Maybe easier to talk to.
Yeah.
It's much more comfortable for me that way.
Do you ever fight?
Of course.
What happens when you argue?
We have makeup sex.
Yeah. Do you ever ground him or anything? No, you have makeup sex, right?
Yes.
And are you in love with him?
I would say yes. I like him very much. In love is just a scary word, but I do love Eddie.
Because you said yes, and then you said I like him a lot, and then you said
I know, but
in love is really
like,
scary.
I know.
You shook your head. Are you in love with her?
To an extent, yes, I am. Absolutely.
Oh, this sounds solid. Yeah.
It's very solid for us.
It's solid for the two of you.
Yes, exactly. That's.
Are you used to broken relationships?
Not really, because I was married
23 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long you've been with him? For a year?
For about a year, yeah. But I've known him a while.
Okay, earlier I asked my Twitter followers this question: would you date somebody considerably older or younger? Here's what you've had to say so far. 62% say it's just a number, because you're both adults, right?
Right.
And you're both
I totally
healthy
agree with that.
Bella's friend Lois says Eddie is a womanizer with bad intentions. We'll talk to her next. Maybe she and Therese can gang up here. I don't know.
I can only speculate that Eddie is in this either for money or sex. I think Eddie and every younger man always has an ulterior motive when they're dating an older woman.
My relationship with Eddie is definitely one of the best I've ever had. I don't worry if people think I'm his mother or not. It hasn't happened so far, and hopefully never will. Of course, I worry about Eddie finding a younger woman, but so far so good.
Well, I'm talking today with self-described cougars and their young men that are referred to as cubs. Now, Bella is 52, and her man Eddie is 32. Both adults, right? I mean, and they're both very healthy and vibrant and attractive couple. Their relationship does not set well with Bella's good friend Lois, however, who believes that Bella's relationship is based purely on sex and nothing else. Take a look.
Bella and Eddie's relationship, in my opinion, will be doomed to fail because the age gap is so huge. Eddie is going to want to eventually move on to somebody younger. Once the sex is gone, he's out the door. Bye-bye. Bella is insecure, and Bella wants to stay young forever. And as we know, we can't stay young forever, and this is her way to try to do that. Bella puts a lot of emphasis on sex, and I think that's her main objective here. I can only speculate that Eddie is in this either for money or sex. I think Eddie and every younger man always has an ulterior motive when they're dating an older woman. I think Eddie is a womanizer, and I think the next piece of ass that comes by is going to go after. Girl, I said, open your eyes. I said, this is not what you really want. How do I get Bella to wake up and realize Eddie is not her future, and she's going to get hurt in the long run?
Okay, so you're looking out for your friend,
yes,
right?
I am.
You don't want to see her get hurt.
Yes.
And do you think, you say he's a womanizer, do you know him?
Not really. I try not to get close to him. I just don't, I want to stay away.
Well, how do you know he's a womanizer and an opportunist and all of those things?
Well,
he looks like a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he is a nice guy. But from what I've heard and what I see kind of with the two of them, I just don't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who pays for things when y'all go out and that sort of thing?
Well, sometimes he pays, sometimes we split, sometimes I pay.
Yeah.
My rule is whoever invites.
Yeah. Whoever invites?
If I ask her out, then I pay. If she says, hey, let's go to dinner, then I'll offer to pay, but she'll usually grab the check from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just curious. And y'all don't live together?
No.
No.
Would you?
No.
Why not?
I just, I don't know. I think I like the way they are. You know, just, I have my privacy, he has his privacy, but then we...
Is this exclusive?
Yes.
So you don't see other people?
No.
And do you believe that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
All right, now, Lois has issues with Bella and Eddie's relationship. Here they are. Eddie has ulterior motives and may be with Bella for money. Believes that Eddie's M.O. is definitely that of a womanizer. Bella is the same age as Eddie's mother, and that's just a problem for her. And the only thing driving their relationship is sex. And that once that's gone, the relationship will be gone. And you're saying that she's cruising for a bruising that way.
I absolutely agree.
And
I absolutely agree.
Does she have a valid point here in terms of that if he moves on to someone younger, that it would hurt you?
Gonna be hurt? Yeah, she does.
Of course, that's a risk in any relationship,
It
right?
is.
I mean, relationships break up.
And it's just, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I look at it that way. Anything could happen. If I'm going to start thinking that, you know, he's going to leave me for someone younger, it's not going to be fun anymore. So I'm not even thinking that. Am I going to get hurt? Yeah, everybody gets hurt eventually. I mean, I'm prepared to be hurt. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I'm kind of preparing myself if things don't work out between.
All right. Well, our next guest never changed her mind. We're going to meet a 76-year-old woman who was once crowned Miss Cougar America.
In 2011, I won the Miss Cougar America title. I was 73. It just happens that younger men like me.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. Well, 76-year-old Alsa says she has been a cougar for 40 years. She says her sexual energy is no different today than it was in her 30s, and men her age, they don't even come close.
I am a cougar. I date younger men. I'm 76. I have been dating younger men between 35 and 40 years. The youngest man I dated was 20 and I was 50. And he asked me out. In 2011, I won the Miss Cougar America title. I was 73 when I won the title. Oldest recipient. I felt it said something positive about older women. Age is not exactly a factor. It just happens that younger men like me, and I like them. If I'm dating a guy now who's 50-something, that's pretty much in line with where I am sexually. What have you got to lose? Certainly not your virginity.
All right. Alsa joins us in the audience, and she says after 40, men go downhill. So you're 76, right?
Yes.
So, like, I could be your cub.
Yes, you could.
Right? But after 40, the pickings get slim, right?
Well, it's more, I think that men kind of reach their emotional maturity between 30 and 45, and during that time they're a little more flexible. You know, you can kind of maybe influence them a little bit, and after that they kind of, it's kind of downhill, you know.
Really? So between 30 and 45 was the best I'm going to get? Yeah. I hope you enjoyed those years. Feel like dog years now, don't they? But I've got to say, you're 76. You look amazing for 76 years old. I hate it when people say that. You're actually very attractive. You just, the fact that you're 76 makes it especially interesting. You've obviously taken very good care of yourself.
Well, I have genetics on my side, too. My mother is 100 years old, and she's still living, and...
Well, does she date?
No.
You don't think that these relationships between these two women and their younger men, you don't think they're long-term relationships. Yours haven't proven to be.
No, I think that any woman that goes into a relationship with a much younger man, I think you have to, built into that equation is the, you know, obviously at some point, guys, you know, generally in their 30s, if they've been single and they haven't been married before, you know, they are looking to maybe have a family or do something like that. And as far as I'm concerned, the time that I spend with them is really going to be for the benefit of the woman that they end up with. So I don't look at it as, oh, I'm going to be hurt, I'm going to be crushed, you know. I really see it as educating them for the benefit of women.
Right. You just educate them, and then you graduate them after a while. A 20-year age difference may not be a big deal when the man is 20 and the woman is 40. But let's take a look at the age gap as people get older. Now, we have some audience volunteers who don't know each other at all, so these are not couples. So if your spousal unit is at home watching this, they're not here with a date. We arrange these. Okay, Tim and Bonnie, can you stand up? Tim, you're 46.
Yep.
And Bonnie, you're 68.
Yes.
Okay, so here this is a 20-year difference, and would you, if you were available, would you date a 20-year younger man like Tim here?
It just all depends.
Yeah. So you're not just swept off your feet by him, Tim. Sorry. But this is what the 20-year difference looks like at this age. Okay, Harold, can you stand up? Harold is 51 and Joanne is 74. Okay, so here's this age difference when it gets up to that age. And both very attractive, but you would notice a difference in age, right? Would you notice it,
Exactly.
Joanne?
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back. Well, now I'd like to hear what the studio audience has to say about this cougar controversy. Under your chair, you're going to find a voting device. I'd like you to answer these questions. Now, here's the first question. Why are some older women attracted to younger men? And here are your choices. A, sex. B, energy. C, money, which is kind of stability, I guess. D, emotional security, maturity. E, none of the above. All right, go ahead and vote. Sex, energy, money, emotional security, or none of the above. A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
All right. That is a very phallic response. That says it's sex. You might have used a different kind of bar graph for that, but I think that speaks volumes without the numbers. Okay, why are some younger men attracted to older women? Same choices: sex, energy, money, emotional security, maturity, or none of the above. Here are the results. Oh, okay. Money. All right, just interesting what y'all think about that. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. Log on to drphil.com. Share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phill and hashtag Cougars and Cubs. We'll see you next time. That was so nice to meet you. Thanks so much, guys. All right, thanks so much.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phill. She claims she's an outcast.
She says she's a victim. They say you spoiled her.
Did her family abandon her?
You're turning tricks every day, right?
I had nowhere to go.
Or did she walk out on them?
You said I'm this manipulative liar.
You are. You lie about everything.
I stole your credit cards. I wrote bad checks. I smoked. I slept with boys. What am I lying about?
Everything.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Take a look at these sweet little girls. This is Cassie, Taryn, and Marissa. And these are their parents, Robin and Monty. Looks like a happy group, doesn't it? But there is one family member here who claims they are being treated like the outcast of the family. In fact, Marissa says she has always felt like an outcast, even though her parents say their youngest daughter was spoiled from the day they brought her home.
When Marissa was about 6 months old, she came here to live with my husband and I. My oldest sister was incarcerated, and she could not care for Marissa. Marissa was welcomed into our family, and we treated her just like the other three.
She was the cutest thing growing up.
We were extremely close. We had pizza nights, movie nights. She was our sister.
She grew up in a very loving home. We're a very good family. We taught respect, say please, say thank you, respect your elders.
We gave her a wonderful life and everything that she could possibly have wanted.
She had her own room. There was a pool in our backyard. I spoiled Marissa. I was trying to compensate for her not having her biological mother. My heart hurt for her.
Marissa, she always did very well in school.
Marissa was very smart. In 8th grade, she was inducted into the Junior National Honor Society. We were so proud of her.
Well, as it stands today, Robin and Monte have not seen or spoken to Marissa in about 3 years. She went from a sweet little girl to a teen in trouble.
Marissa went from this bubbly little girl to this rebellious teenager.
Most everything was a fight with Marissa.
She would tell me, "You're not my real mother. I do demand respect. I'm your mom. I'm raising you. You need to respect me."
She started getting into drinking and smoking and a little bit of drugs and hanging out with boys a lot, sneaking out of the house.
She went from a straight A student to failing just about every class.
I'm not really sure what triggered her to spiral out of control.
We would punish Marissa. She was basically grounded. I would take her cell phone, and there would be pictures of her half naked. One time, there was a knock at the door. It was a police officer. Bring her home. The cops found Marissa and a boy having sex.
It got to the point where we couldn't trust her at all.
Marissa turned this whole house upside down.
It was overwhelming. My parents never dealt with anything like this before.
Marissa became this monster I just couldn't control.
She never finished high school, and she dropped out.
My husband and I both told her, you need to follow the rules. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Well, Robin and Monty said she left, and she left all right. And what she walked into was way worse than any parent could imagine.
I found out that Marissa was putting ads as an escort.
She has nowhere to go now. She is prostituting herself now in order to be able to survive.
A friend sent me one of her online ads. And when I read the ad, I thought I was going to get sick. I couldn't believe it. I thought she was a full-time manager at a fast food place. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
When I feel about my little baby escorting, it's very hard for me to accept.
When I found out I was angry, I didn't want anything to do with her.
I felt sick to my stomach.
Through Facebook Messenger, she wrote to me, "I think about you every day." And I didn't respond.
Marissa's behavior has been devastating. I'm absolutely embarrassed to call Marissa my sister.
I really miss my little sister.
I miss her a lot.
As Marissa's mom, this is my worst nightmare. I'm afraid I don't want to bury her. This is my kid. I don't know how to fix it. That's why I'm here.
Well, Cassie, I can tell before we even start, this is difficult for you.
Yes.
Tell me why.
A lot of emotions. It's very embarrassing. It's very hard. I feel sorry for her. It's caused a lot of pain to me, to my family.
Is she a victim here, or have you guys abandoned her when she hit a rough spot in her life? Or is it more than a rough spot in her life?
It's more than a rough spot in her life. I don't believe she's a victim.
Because she says she's a victim. I mean, you listen to her.
I did.
And I'm listening to her on tape, and she's saying, you know, come on. I mean, it's like everybody bailed on me here. I clearly did make the best choices, but everybody just quit on me. And it's kind of like, look at this family. What one thing is not like the others? And it's her. She's saying, they're not my real parents, and I was treated differently. But you say, yes, you were. You were treated differently, because they say you spoiled her. That you gave her more than you gave them, that you treated her special, that you kind of overcompensated for her even.
I overcompensated. I felt a little bad for her, and financially, Monty and I could do a little bit more at that point, but not to the point where she would be doing these types of things.
What bugs you most about what she's doing? What's the most self-destructive thing she's doing right now?
Escorting.
She's going to kill herself. That's what I believe. I think the end result, if she continues her lifestyle, is she's going to die.
You think she's just going to, you're going to get a call?
Yes.
She's going to find her dead. How will she die? Will it be drugs? Somebody's going to kill her? What's going to happen?
Any of those things, honestly.
And you guys are humiliated by this whole thing, right?
Yeah, this was very hard to make the choice to come on here.
Why do it? Why, if you're so embarrassed by her, why are you on national television putting it out there?
I'm not embarrassed by her. I'm embarrassed by the choices that she's made. I'm embarrassed that she was given everything. She was given tools. She was given a loving family. And she's chose to make these types of choices and to lead this type of life when she didn't have to. She didn't have to leave the house. She didn't have to go and escort. She didn't have to go and do these things with boys and steal. And she didn't have to do any of those things. We were loving and supportive. We were positive role models for her. Yeah. She chose to, and because of my love for her, I'm here.
Marissa is here today, and she says her entire family turned their backs on her when she needed them the most, and because of that, she spiraled out of control. She's blaming them. I really don't get that, but we're going to let her try and explain it when we come back.
I was only my mom's child when I was on my best behavior. When I wasn't on my best behavior, that's when I became her niece.
I've never turned my back on Marissa.
I don't know how they sleep peacefully, knowing that they once had a sister or a daughter they abandoned.
And later,
I stole your credit cards, I wrote bad checks, I lied to you, I smoked, I slept with boys, I've been a prostitute. What do you think I'm lying about?
Everything.
Okay.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill.
Winning the lottery changed our lives for the worse.
You're saying he saw it as he won the lottery.
She has money signs in her eyes.
You make me sound like this evil person that's like, give me your money.
I do not like her treated like you treat her.
You won't believe.
You violated her makeup and lip gloss.
How nasty this gets.
I went to put it on and I'm like, oh my God.
That's tomorrow.
Marissa's biracial. Marissa's biological mother is white, and Marissa's biological father is black. As she got older, Marissa was very self-conscious. Marissa felt like
at times that she didn't fit in. She felt that the blacks didn't accept her as being black, being white, that race didn't accept her. As far as her being a mixed race, I just loved her, and I would just tell her, who cares what anybody thinks? We all love you.
Robin and Monty are here with their daughters, Taryn and Cassie. All four are concerned about their family member, Marissa, who was raised with them in what they say, and I think anybody that would look from the outside in or the inside out, was a very normal and loving home. Marissa admits she turned to a dangerous life of escorting, and her family wants no part of it.
I feel like my family just turned their backs on me because it was easier for them.
I've never turned my back on Marissa. I've always been there.
Their lives have just gone on, and they just completely forgotten about me. I always see my family posting on Facebook and stuff about, you know, going on vacations and buying new cars and living just lavishly as I'm struggling every day.
We've tried to help her. She didn't want it. She wasn't ready.
I was only my mom's child when I was on my best behavior. When I wasn't on my best behavior, that's when I became her niece. I think my sisters think they're better than me because they have their together. It's clear to me that I am not a part of their sisterly bond and I am an outcast.
I hope that Marissa can make the changes she needs for the family to trust her again.
Even though Marissa's been out of all of our life, I'll never give up on her.
My mom should let go and stop trying to fix all of Marissa's problems, but she won't. She's her mom.
I don't know how they sleep peacefully knowing that they once had a sister or a daughter they abandoned.
Okay, Marissa, I'm glad you're here. And who have you seen and not seen in what periods of time?
None of them.
Haven't seen any of these folks in 2 years, 3 years?
About 2-3 years.
2-3 years. And how about Monty?
Same.
Same? And how did that come to pass?
Pretty much we just stopped talking, and I mean, I would connect with my mom on Facebook every once in a while, but everyone else just stopped talking to me.
I've seen family photos, like I was flipping through a family album, and there were times that you all look like one big happy family, right?
Look like it.
I mean, look at the pictures.
I don't remember. I mean, I could barely remember that.
But what was the point at which you said, it's broken, it's not working?
Probably when I left home. I was 17.
Okay, and why did you leave?
I didn't feel like I mean, she told me that I was going to have to leave when I was 18 anyway, so I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to go out and do what I wanted to do.
Okay, so you made the choice to leave.
Ultimately, yeah.
You weren't driven out at first, you made the choice.
I mean, it was that uncomfortable of a situation where I didn't want to be there anymore.
And what was uncomfortable about it?
I wasn't wanted there. I mean, you could obviously tell. I mean, you could just tell I wasn't wanted there. I was constantly.
How could you tell?
I was constantly getting in trouble. I mean, they were constantly telling me that when I turned 18, on my 18th birthday, I was going to have to get out anyway, so.
How were you getting in trouble?
Lying, sneaking out, boys, drinking, smoking.
Stealing.
Stealing.
So
everything.
you were
I'm admitting what I can say it. I'm admitting everything. I can say it.
So you were doing things that were contrary to fitting in to a trust relationship with the family.
Mm-hmm.
You were sneaking out, drinking, lying, stealing. What were you stealing?
Money.
Credit cards.
That's money. It's the same thing. It's money.
Okay. All right. And so they objected to that. So
yeah.
You felt like you weren't welcome because of your behavior. Is that unreasonable?
No, it's not. I'm completely unreasonable. They didn't push me to make the choices that I did, but there was things beforehand that definitely played in part of why I did the things that I did.
Okay, what were those things?
Like when I was raped when I was 13. That was complete.
What?
Taryn, when I told you, and we sat on the couch together.
No.
Are you kidding me?
This is
Are
part
you kidding
of
me?
your lies.
And I explained everything. Are you serious?
You were raped?
Are you serious? And are you kidding me? We sat on the couch and you said, all right, we're going to get together and we're going to tell Auntie Robin together.
No, we did not.
Yes, I did. All right.
That is a bold
Why would I sit there and lie about it?
That's your problem, Marissa.
What's my problem? I'm not, what am I denying?
Your problem is the lies, and you believe them. You believe them. Marissa.
This is what I can't. I cannot.
Question?
Why would I lie about something like that?
You lie about everything.
All right. I'm lying now. That I would come on the show to come and lie.
Do you honestly think if we knew that you were raped at 13, we would not do anything about it?
Nothing was done about it.
What did you tell them?
I told him exactly what happened, that this man took me into the back of the woods. I had made a joke. I said, oh, I hope you're not taking me back here to rape me, and that's exactly what he did.
Did you make up this story like on your way here?
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Okay.
This is all. This is all of it.
No.
Okay, did she tell you that?
No, she did not.
Did she tell you that a man picked her up, gave her a ride on a moped, took her to the back of the woods and raped her?
No.
And what did they say when you said that to her? What did she say?
It was that brushed over the shoulders that I can't even remember what they said about it because nothing was done about it.
Okay, well, we're going to find out what Marissa says Robin did that was abusive and made her feel worthless. We heard what she feels like happened when she reported a rape at age 13. We're going to find out what she says happened from Robin's standpoint that made her feel worthless. We'll be right back.
First time I had sex for money, I was scared. Every day I think I got more and more scared because I've seen the Craigslist killers and different movies and shows, and I know it's real. I know it happened. It was just when is the next guy just gonna come in and just put a knife to my throat? My mom was a bad mother. She never gave me love and compassion I think I needed.
I was a good mom. I gave her love. When she needed something, I provided for her.
When I would come home from school crying after all the ridicule from the kids, she never told me she loved me.
I was there for her whenever she needed me.
If I was her blood daughter, I believe she would have done a lot more to make sure that I didn't end up like this.
Well, Marissa, who calls herself the outcast of her family, says even though she hasn't spoken to her parents and sisters in at least 3 years, she has kept up with them on Facebook, viewing their family pictures. She says she has been excluded from. Marissa says while her family has been living a carefree life, going on vacations and cruises together, she has been alone, doing whatever she can to make $20 just to eat. Now, just before break, we were talking about the fact that you reported at 13 that you had been raped. You said you remembered specifically sitting there telling Terrence because you were afraid to tell your mom about it.
Then you asked me, why did I wait so long afterwards to tell you? You act like I don't remember this conversation. I know this conversation. I haven't. I told you, and I know I told you. You can sit there and shake your head.
It's fabricated.
Okay.
So it has to be. You never.
Just like you never put your hands on me. Just like you never did anything. Yeah, it's all fabricated.
Yeah, but I was just curious. I asked you what she said when you told her, and you said, well, I don't remember, just kind of brushed it off. But you remember telling her, did she get upset?
Yeah, she
did she
got upset
cry?
and she
did
was
she
like,
say,
I really think we should tell Mom.
Did she let's call the police? What did she say?
We don't talk about, she said we should go tell Mom, and that's what we did. We got together, she sat right there with me. Taryn really spoke for me and kind of pushed me into telling her.
So
because
then
I
the
was
three of you
so
went
scared.
and reported this to your mother.
Mm-hmm.
So did they come and tell you?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Marissa, stop. Not at all.
Stop what? What am I stopping?
So you don't remember her telling you this?
You're shaking your head. What am I stopping?
Okay, and you don't remember them coming and telling you?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. If I really wanted to lie, you think I would come on the show to sit here and
lie
you
about
really think I would come on the show to tell people what I've done if I wanted to be a liar? I wouldn't have even come on the show.
Marissa?
I wouldn't even
Who
come
wrote
on this
the
show. You did, because you wanted me to pawn off because you didn't want to help me. You wanted somebody else to help me.
How dare you?
Okay.
Do you see the text?
You
Dr.
wanted-
Phil has all the texts,
and I'm
you
still
and I
a
back and
manipulative
forth.
liar, and
I
I'm
did
still
not.
a this. Okay. You never
He
said
has
that?
all of that.
I'm pretty sure your friend showed me some things you said just recently, that I'm still this manipulative liar. I'm not changing.
You are.
Okay.
That's your
What
problem.
am I lying about?
Everything.
Okay, everything. What's everything? Please explain everything.
Let me use an
Please
example.
explain.
Let me have an example. Did you lie about Monty being inappropriate?
I never said that a day in my life. I never said he ever touched me. I never said that.
Not you.
Somebody else.
I never said that. You believed all them, just like you believed them when I told you about going to see my father. You believed them. You believed my mother, and you sat there and you busted my lip because you didn't believe me. Why would I lie about meeting my father? Why?
You lie about everything.
So there you go. I'm lying about everything.
Did you tell CPS that your mother was beating you?
Yes, because she was. She definitely put her hands on me.
I smacked you. Yes, I did.
And that's what I told you.
not beating you.
Brush everything off.
No, Marissa, you're a liar.
Okay.
Who stole the Durango?
I did. You want to say that I did? I stole your credit cards. I wrote bad checks. I lied to you. I smoked. I slept with boys. What am I lying about? I would not have come on this show to lie.
Why did you come?
I need help.
Every time you went to a new place, like a new family member's place, that was help.
No, it
Every
wasn't.
time-
When
I
did you
wasn't-
ever offer
I
me to
wasn't-
come sleep on your couch?
I didn't.
When did you ever offer me to come sleep on your
I didn't.
couch?
Because
When did
you're
anybody? When did any of y'all offer me to come sleep on y'all's
When
couch?
you're done, I'll go. So your negative, harmful, poor choices fears for my safety. So no, I'm not going to allow you to come and sleep on my couch.
Fears for your
you've
safety?
allowed
Like
people.
I raped and killed people.
We don't know who you're around.
You've allowed people.
You're around him.
You've allowed.
Are you serious?
Forever. So forever, I'm supposed to just be that. When I'm sitting there telling you that I'm ready to change and I'm ready, but again,
and that's why we're
it's
here,
always
Marissa.
gonna go back.
That's why we're here. That's why I wrote the letter.
Why?
That's why. Because I love you,
I don't.
Marissa.
You say it, but I don't feel it.
Are you serious? I
say
love
it,
you.
but
I
you
want
do not
nothing
feel it.
more than for you to be in our life.
I don't think so.
That's what I want.
I do
I'm
not think
telling
so.
you, that is what I want. That's what these girls want.
We put ourselves on this show.
We have everything.
not
I don't
put
know
you
why
back in our life.
I'm on this show.
To get you help.
Marissa, we dropped everything to come on this show
And
do
you
our
guys
best
act
to
like
find
you're
out
doing
why.
the biggest thing in the world. I'm coming on the show and admitting all my
You
problems.
have nothing to lose, honey.
What do you mean I have nothing to
job.
lose?
You have no friends.
I have
you don't
nothing
have
to
a
lose.
career. Like you don't
I have
have
no
things
friends.
to
Well,
lose.
I'm starting to get my feelings hurt.
I'm sorry, Dr. Phil. I know.
Everybody's talking about, like, well, yeah, I did the worst thing in the world. I came on this show. Like, I mean, look what sacrifice I made for you. I've gone to hell for you. I'm on the Dr. Phil show. I come here every day. I kind of like it. Marissa has already admitted she is ashamed about escorting. Let's find out what else she's ashamed of when we come back. And I'm going to get an answer to my question, why is she here and what does she want help with? We'll be right back.
Well, what was the constant fat jokes for? What was the constant calling me names for when I didn't even do it? What was I doing?
Calling you names. What names?
You didn't call me a fat bitch every
Marissa.
time? My mom is a little bit racist. On several different occasions, she called me a couple different racial slurs. She would say, "You're my slave," and then she would just kind of make light of the situation afterwards, like it was a joke. When I was a kid, I sagged my pants, and she would tell me to pull my pants up. I'm not a you're not ghetto. We don't do that in this family. I feel like she has her judgments against black people.
Well, that was Marissa talking about the racial slurs. She says the woman she calls mom,
I was lied to.
who is biologically her Aunt Robin, has called her in the past. Now, you say, yeah, I lied and stole and cheated and betrayed and did all these things. But you say it with bitterness and anger. I hear absolutely no remorse
I've been
in
very
your voice
remorseful
at all.
I know the choices that I made, and I made them.
You're a smart person, right? Me at a 4.0, you were in National Honor Society. I mean, you seriously,
But the thing is that's what makes me angry, because even then, I was still getting joked for my weight. I was still constantly getting yelled at. What was I doing when I was a kid? What was so bad before I was drinking, before I was smoking, before? What was the fat? You're a fat this, you're a fat that, barking at me, just shut your mouth. What was the constant fat jokes for? What was the constant calling me names for when I didn't even do it? What was I doing?
Calling you names. What names?
You didn't call me a fat bitch every time. You didn't call me that.
Did we go to Weight Watchers
together? Did you ever take me to see my black family? Did you ever take me to see my black side of my family ever? As many times we went up to Massachusetts.
Do you even know who they
are? I did meet them. I did meet them.
Did they come to Mom's every summer? Think about that. Your black family.
What do you mean, what black family? I do have a father, and I believe he is black.
He's incarcerated.
Okay, but there's still his family. My grandmother, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles on their side, any of them.
To the negativity.
How do you know that's negative?
Are you serious?
Negative of what? How are you to judge them?
Incarcerated.
How are you to judge? He's incarcerated. That's him.
You don't get incarcerated for no reason.
Okay, but you had no problem taking me to go see my mother in jail. You had no problem doing that. So what do you mean trying to keep me from the negative? You believe you and Nana took me to go see my mother in jail.
One time we took you.
One time, but yet you're telling me you're trying to keep me away from it. What are you really saying?
Can you calm, please? One time, you're absolutely right. That is my sister. I know my sister. I don't know who your father is.
So you take that away from me?
I don't take that away from you.
You did take that away from me.
But I'm not subjecting myself to that.
No one said you had to. You could have.
You just said that.
You could have easily let me go and meet my grandparents or meet my other side of the family. Meet some kind of black culture.
You've never indicated any.
Excuse me. Can I? Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. What do you want?
Do you want us? I'm sorry.
I want to be accepted in the family. I mean, you sit there and say, yeah, we accepted you, but there's just numerous of times when I can sit there and remember saying, let me just get the sisters together, and then you'd let me come in. It was always me on the outside of everything. But then when we were at home, I was your sister, but when we go in public, you introduced me as your niece. When I was in front of y'all, I was your daughter, but then when you introduced me to people, I was your niece, and you had to go in and explain the whole story that went along with it. I don't want that. I want somebody that's going to be there no matter what. I'm not sitting here saying I want to come live on your couch and for you to take care of me and give me bukus of money. But I'm saying you should have just, I don't know, sent me to a rehab, just made me go to a rehab center, do something. Do something. You spent all this money to go on vacations and do this as I'm sitting in a crappy-ass hotel just getting bit up by bed bugs and having this man and this man and this man. Again, I'm not blaming you for the choices of what I did, but I had nowhere to go. Again, you haven't talked to me. You sit there and say I'm this manipulative liar, but you haven't sat here and talked to me in 3 years. You see what I'm doing, but again, what do I do? What can I do? I'm sitting on the street. I have no other choice. Tell me, get a full-time, do this on your own, but it's not that easy. If someone was to do this for you and just completely just say, do it yourself, figure it out yourself. What do you do? I'm very smart. I love working. I love going to work. I love going to work, and I want to go back to school. But again, how am I going to do that and pay for this $1,700 a month hotel room? How?
Can I say something? I just found out what you were doing.
No, you didn't. You've known from almost 3 years ago.
Can I comment on that?
You've known from almost 3 years ago.
Y'all can do this at the break, because you don't need me for this. I started to have a conversation with her, and y'all wanted to start bickering again, and you really don't need me for that, so we're going to take a break. Marissa did have a question for me that she wrote down. I'm going to address that question when we come back. It's a very specific question. We'll be right back.
My mom told me my biological mother made wrong choices in her life and ended up being in jail. If I don't get help now, I just feel like I'm just going to be in the same path and the same things are going to keep repeating itself.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. After her husband hit the lottery,
He would say, you're not entitled to anything.
things got nasty.
You violated her makeup.
I went to put it on, and I'm like, oh, my God.
That's tomorrow.
When I think about myself, I feel ashamed. I feel like I shamed family. I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I gave up on myself. I want to stop looking at myself in disgust. I want to stop looking in the mirror and crying.
Day after day, and I was the only person to talk to you. The only one. How dare you? No matter what I've done, how dare you? And I sat there, and I still was on your side, and I still never turned my back on you. I didn't ask for anything from you. You couldn't even respond. Nothing. Nothing.
This has continued through the break, and we're back now. Marissa did have a question. She said, am I fixable and worth helping, or am I a lost cause? And I took that as a pretty legitimate question on your part, because I think people realize that we all feel like at times we get to a point where we say, you know, it's too late. Look, I'm the incurable optimist. I'm absolutely the incurable optimist. I just think that it's never too late. I think you can always make a choice to turn things around. But I also am a realist. Life has momentum. And when you've got momentum in your life like you do, because, I mean, we don't need to dress this up. You're hooking. And you're turning tricks every day, right? 15, 20 guys a day? That's a horrible, horrible existence for you. My heart breaks for you that you're devaluing yourself that way. Particularly when I know how capable you are and how smart you are. And I also know, despite the fact that you have trouble seeing and receiving it right now, how loved you are. These people love you. And I know you can't receive that right now, but even Monty, he loves you. Your sisters here love you. Your mother loves you. And the idea of you out devaluing and disrespecting yourself in that way every day and anesthetizing yourself with drugs or alcohol to get through it is a vicious circle, right? I mean, you got to stay high to do it, and you got to do it to stay high. So I realize there's momentum here, and it takes a lot to change that. These people have a right to be upset with you. You have violated their trust. You have betrayed their investment in you. You have betrayed their loyalty. You have a right to be upset with them. They are not perfect people. And when you began to get to those teenage years and you started to rebel, they didn't know how, they didn't deal with that perfectly. No question about it. They didn't know what to do with that. They did not deal with that perfectly. And so you guys brought out the worst in each other. And then so you go off by yourself and you go like, you know, I'm over here just rebelling, so they need to come out here and make me quit. And they just didn't come. There's a lot of damage here. And trust has to be earned. You've got some really bad momentum, and they're quite right. Who knows who you have in your life right now? I would not put you on my couch, because I wouldn't know who you would pick up the phone and say, hey, come over, look at where I'm crashing now. I'd get up in the morning and go down there and look like the bar scene from Star Wars. Hell, I wouldn't know who might be in there. This guy, this girl, this guy, who knows? Look your mother in the eye and tell me you don't see pain in her eye.
I do.
They love you, but they hate what you are doing. I think that this family is broken. Look her in the eye. Look your mother in the eye. No, don't look away. Look her in the eye and tell me you don't see pain in her eye.
I do.
This is not the look of a woman that doesn't care about you. That doesn't mean she's not so mad at you she could pinch your head off of you, because she is and she could.
She has every right to be mad.
Yes, she does.
I'm not taking any of those rights away from you.
Yes, she does. But through that, there's one thing I've learned a long time ago, and this is a truth you can count on, thank God, because I'm probably the most flawed man you may ever meet. You can love someone and not love everything they do. And this is the perfect example of it. They love you, but they hate what you are doing. You love them, but you hate some of the things they're doing, right? You think they have been uptight bitches. I mean, you're seriously, right? You think, you know, what are you, a little bit goody two-shoes? Come off your high horse. I'm still your sister. You act like, ooh. Well, listen, you gave them a pretty good ooh moment. Okay?
I mean, I did it to my life, though. I never...
Yes, but you did it to them, too, because they're invested in you. They have invested in you. They love you. They care about you. And then when you go off, it reflects on them. It's their failure, too, because they're asking themselves, like, well, what could I have done? Why didn't I see? Why didn't I recognize? This has affected everybody. And you come out here and you have one strategy in your life, and that's get them before they get me. You come out here like this.
That was not why I came on the show, to get them.
That's how you came on the show. It may not be why you came on the show, but it's how you came on the show. And people get that way when they're under attack. And you're here under attack because you are attackable. You are doing some really bad things. And those things need to stop. Mm-hmm. You need to be pulled out of that life, and you need to get your feet on the ground. You need help at so many different levels, and believe you me, it is above their pay grade. Yeah. It is above their pay grade. There are mental, emotional, social, and lifestyle issues with you. You need a restart and a relaunch. And to do that, you got to get out of your environment. And I am willing to help you do that. Okay? I'm willing to help you do that. I'm willing to pull you out of that world and get you where you need to be to get your feet on the ground. Okay? And I'm not sure yet what that needs to be. I'm not sure whether you need to be in rehab. I'm not sure whether you need to be in some type of inpatient program to get you reacclimated. I don't know. I need to have you carefully and thoroughly evaluated. And then you know what I'm willing to do? I'm willing to use all of my resources. And the good thing about being Dr. Phill on the air for 13 years with the #1 show in television is you do have lots of resources, because I've made all these partnerships all throughout the world with the top resources in the world that I can bring to bear for you. And are you worth it? Well, all I can tell you is I am willing to use my best resources on you. I'm going to get you the resources that you need. And I'm going to tell you what it's going to start with. I'm yanking you out of your world.
Oh,
I'm cutting all ties. You're not going to say goodbye. I'll call you. Nothing. You're going to unplug from the internet. You're coming off of all of your websites. Yes. I'm going to take your cell phone and stomp it into a million pieces and get you a new one with a number nobody has. You're going offline. You're coming out of that environment. We're doing a restart, girl. And
but you see, it took it.
And the launch.
Obviously, I want it.
My dad taught me never miss a good chance to shut the hell up. Okay? This is one of those. Your launch pad is right here with these people and me and my team. Will you just say, I will do what you tell me to do? Thank you.
Do what you tell me to do.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I will do what you tell me to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, fair enough?
Yes.
We'll do this. You need more help than you guys. You can't love her through this. We need to do some reprogramming. All right, we have to go. I want to thank all of my guests today. To weigh in on today's show, log on to drphill.com and share your thoughts on our message boards, or use hashtag Dr. Phill or hashtag Feeling Rejected. Don't we all from time to time? You can find me on Twitter or Facebook. And just as a personal note, I want to say thank you to everybody out there. You all know I've written a new book called 2020. It's a weight loss vision into reality. It talks about 20 key foods to help you be successful. And it is the first time I've ever written about weight in 10 years. And it's a healthy way to get yourself back into really good shape. And thanks to all of you, it has become #1 on the New York Times bestseller list and the #1 book in America. So the stories I've been hearing from y'all is just absolutely unbelievable. I am signing a copy of it for you to start with, because you're going to get yourself back in shape, get yourself healthy and back in shape. That's one of the things we're going to start with. And everybody in the audience is going home with a copy. So I'll get you a copy of the book. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we got a plan? We got a plan? You guys. Thank you.
Today on Dr. Phill.
My mom, she's an evil person.
Her children claim she's blacklisted them.
They say they are not allowed to visit their dying father.
That is not true. If he wanted to see you, he'd call you.
So you're totally okay with them seeing their father?
Absolutely.
That's a lie. She's lying.
With the vile stuff you say, I guarantee you there won't be one of you he wants to see.
You are so hostile.
Is mom keeping them from their dying dad?
Do you want a relationship with your children?
Of course. Are you okay with me calling them?
Stop asking for permission to talk to them.
Have they not exaggerated and lied?
Well, you know what?
You need to be honest with them.
Please let the man speak. For God's sake, just let the man talk. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. On today's show, we meet a big family with even bigger problems. Now, pay close attention, because there are a lot of players involved here. Here is their family tree. Okay, now, Teresa and Michael are married, and they have 9 children. Now, tragically, Michael is dying of bone cancer, and it is quite advanced. And sadly, they just don't know how long he has to live. And this is where the pain comes in for this family. 4 of their 9 children, Nicole, Chase, Amber, and Karina, say they are not even allowed to visit their dying father. They say they have been blacklisted by their mom. They say all of their efforts to see their dad have just been ignored. Now, Amber, the oldest, hasn't spoken to her mom in 15 months. I mean, it's been a while. She hasn't spoken at all. Nicole says that it's been 3 years since she has exchanged words with her mother, Teresa. Now, Karina and Chase both have not spoken to either parent in 2 years. So we got 2 years here, 2 years here, 3 years, and 15 months. So what's going on with this once big, happy family? Well, take a look.
I wrote into Dr. Phill because my mother has caused me to not be able to have a relationship with my younger siblings or my dad. That's really hard. It's not like I ever did anything wrong to my dad.
I would like to be able to see him, and I can't because my mother doesn't allow that.
I have tried reaching out to my dad numerous times. My sister let me know that my mom monitors his phone and had deleted the messages that I sent him. I can't do this. My younger sister came out to see me, and when she came back home, my mom told her that if she ever met up with me again, she was gonna hold her down and cut all of her hair off. She's an evil person. She does evil things. She's just evil.
Okay, well, I'm here with Mom Teresa, Amber, Karina, and Nicole. I just said, how are you, when you came out, and you said not real happy. What's the problem?
Well, I just listened to a bunch of lies. There's no one threatened to cut anybody's hair off.
So you disagree with what you just heard?
Absolutely.
What's your hope in being here today?
Well, after listening to what they just said, why would I want a relationship with girls that lie like that? I don't monitor my husband's phone. He's absolutely able to call whoever he wants to call. He's going to come out here and he'll let you know. If a message comes through, I give him the phone. It's up to him whether he wants to call them back or not. And not one of them has made an attempt to make a phone call to him in over a year.
Okay, is that true?
I have reached out to my dad numerous times. And when I've told him that I want to see him, it's always, I'll see what I can do.
If he wanted to see you, he'd call you. He said, why would I make contact with the girls when they don't even care about me?
Yeah, but that's not the case, because even with Chase, you got mad at him. He has to sneak around and lie about where he's going just to see his own son.
I don't know why anyone would make up the fact that we can't see him.
I figured you might have something on TV to gain, is what I said. I said, you know what, this must be something that they want to be exposed.
I think we all kind of knew you were going to come out here and not admit to anything, and part of us thought maybe she'll acknowledge the problem and we can go from there. But if you're not going to admit any of it...
Are you serious? Do you honestly think that he's not an adult? If he wanted to call you back, he would?
Would you rather they not have contact with their dad?
I don't care if they do, but when I was...
So if they just call the house, you're just going to pick up... They want to come by, they can just swing by and see them?
Absolutely.
Do y'all know where they live?
100%.
No, I don't.
Why do you not know where they live?
Because I don't have their address, and I have had
Why do you not have their address?
We don't have a relationship. We don't talk.
We've only lived at our new address like 9 days.
So you're totally okay with them seeing their father?
Absolutely.
No problem, no issue. Then problem is solved, right?
Well, you'd think.
What?
That's a lie. But she's lying.
That's okay. You want to know why, Dr. Phill? My husband's going to come out, and he's going to let you know the exact truth. He goes, the adult children do not care. If they want to come around now after all this time, it's because they know I'm ill.
Can I tell you something?
Why do you think they don't want to come around?
Because we don't get along.
Exactly.
Well, that's clear.
Absolutely.
But can I ask you something? If I didn't care, why would I write into you? If it was something that I could just go and see my dad, why would I take the time out of my day to write into you? That doesn't even make any sense.
Okay, so what she's saying is not true.
It's not true.
So what happens when you try to see your dad then? When you try to talk to him, contact him on the phone, go see him, whatever.
A couple times when I have tried to contact him or him through my sister, it's always, my dad has, a couple times have told me, I'll see what I can do. Or if I text him, I get nothing back from him, but I'm told she has his phone.
That's not true.
So are you upset with her besides what you heard on the tape?
Absolutely.
What are you upset with her about?
We stayed with them for a month, and my kids got very minimal that year before for Christmas, and they had to move. So all of our belongings were in her garage. On several occasions, my husband had tried to make arrangements to go pick this stuff up. They threw everything we had in the trash, and they laughed as they did it. Now, that's not just my stuff. My daughter got an electric scooter for Christmas. All of my teenage daughter's clothing, perfume sets, makeup, hoodies.
Is that true? Did you throw their things away?
We were moving out of our home.
Right.
And they had stuff in our garage. My husband numerously reached out to my dad and said, I can't have this stuff here. Our landlord's been by, and he's going to charge us to dispose of it. Numerous times. We heard nothing from them. The day we left with our U-Haul, my husband threw all your stuff away. Yes, he did. What was I supposed to do?
You could drop it off.
Where? Where?
You don't know where
She
they
knew
live?
where we lived.
No, I didn't. Why would I want to throw my brothers and sisters' stuff away?
Why wouldn't you take it with you? It really wasn't that much stuff.
Because we moved into a small apartment. I had to downsize from my stuff.
Well, you didn't have room to store some perfume?
That's not what it was. It was like boxes of like maybe Halloween decorations. There was like a tall fan. There was like bags. It wasn't what she's saying.
Are you upset with her as well?
Who? Nicole?
Yes, Nicole.
We don't have a relationship whatsoever, no.
Why?
I disagree with the way she treats people, and
I disagree with the way you abuse your daughter.
oh, that's a lie.
It's not a lie. Your dad's going to come out, and so
Yeah,
it'll all come to
because he
light
has to
because he's
live
not
with
going to
you.
lie. Absolutely not,
Yeah,
Nicole.
because he has to live. He's told
Absolutely
me.
not.
He has told me. I
Nicole.
don't want, he said, who wants to
He's
live?
told you what?
He said, who wants to live their life with someone that's supposed to be their partner, constantly putting them down every day, making them feel, you know, like
He'll
the
come
way
out
you
and
make
defend himself,
Of
so as
course.
soon as he gets here...
Of course, because he has to live with you.
No. You only came here because you think you have something to benefit. You don't care whether you see your dad. I heard the last way you spoke to him.
No, you
okay?
didn't.
Absolutely I did.
Yeah.
You have no respect for him whatsoever, and you treat him badly.
You say she makes fun of your father behind his back.
To his face.
Why would you do that? Do you
She's
do
lying.
That? You don't do that. What does
You
she
don't
do?
call him a crippled old man and make fun of that he has no teeth. And
Ask
that
him when he
he's
comes
sleeping.
out.
Why would I make that up?
Because I think you need to make a story for these people to hear.
Okay.
You have no other reason to be here.
All right.
You are so hostile.
I'm angry. I'm very angry. And I'm not going to have 3 vindictive girls
That's
cause
not
any
it.
trouble in my
That's
home.
not it. Do you see what she does, how she goes around the situation?
Guys,
All
this
you
is
have
not
to do
my
is
first
speak-
day,
You-
okay?
You need to just speak to my husband.
And later,
Are you okay with me calling them or contacting them?
If you want to, absolutely.
Can they come by the house anytime they want to?
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Chris is a pathological liar. Chris said he was a pilot buying a $500,000 house.
A life of deception.
did he accuse you of kidnapping your child?
Yeah.
I wanted my son. He may have fooled others.
I made a list of his lies.
But has he met his match?
What did you decide was the best way to play me?
I don't like the fact that you're
I
telling...
don't expect you to like it.
That's Monday.
We are in a situation here where it seems that Michael is in very advanced stages of cancer, and survival is questionable and limited. And that impacts everybody here. And I just hear all of this petty bickering back and forth without consideration for the real issue that's going on here.
Do you know, I've asked my husband, I've said to him, because he said, you know, I know that the girls, the older girls, don't care for me. He said, but I lose out because I don't get to see my grandkids. I've said to him, if you want to talk to any of them, he said, I have no desire. He goes, they treat me so badly. He goes, but I lose out on my grandkids because she's lived in my home her whole life through her 3 pregnancies. She's been under my roof every single time.
And you put your hands on me when I was 9 months pregnant, and you shoved me into the Christmas tree, knocked me to the floor, and did not care. You did not do that.
Did it happen?
I have no idea what she's talking. But you're also talking to somebody who's heavily addicted to pain medication. I don't listen to anything that she has to say because she's got an abusive mind.
Given the backdrop of what we're dealing with here, I find it a real odd non sequitur that you are so hostile.
I'm angry. I'm very angry.
I mean, but
Just
aren't
like I
there bigger
said, I'm
fish
going
to fry here? Aren't there bigger issues?
I have a husband to take care of, and I'm not going to have 3 vindictive girls
No, that's
cause
not
any
it.
trouble in my home.
That's not it.
that I take care of, and I've got younger kids in the home, I'm not going to have them.
Even want to be
I'm sitting here listening to them bald-faced lie to you.
The younger kids don't even want to be there.
We came here to mend things.
We wanted to make things
Really?
better.
So you guys are going to make false accusations? Are you serious?
That's not a lie.
Are you guys serious? I threatened to cut somebody's hair, my daughter that lives in my home?
Then maybe you should talk to her because that's what she's saying.
Yeah, well, I'll have to talk to her because I have no idea what that is.
The thing I don't understand, because I do have two young girls myself, is regardless of what it is, what mother wouldn't say, this is so stupid. Your dad's sick, he's dying, we're a big family. I'm the mother, I'm going to pull us together. Instead, you're pushing us apart.
It's like I said. No. They don't live the story. They don't live it.
Do you see what she does, how she goes around the situation about not wanting to...
Yeah, guys, this is not my first day, okay?
You need to just speak to my husband. It's disgusting.
What they're saying is that you're taking cheap shots to try to deflect from the real issue.
No, that they were, what they were doing...
I pay attention, trust me. They're saying you're taking cheap shots to embarrass her, that you're trying to deflect from the real issue.
The fighting between me and the girls was she thought I took her side, she thought I took her side in the fighting in the family because they both lived with me when that happened.
But they don't seem to be taking cheap shots back at you.
That's not a cheap shot. It's where the fighting began.
That was like 7 years ago.
But why aren't they taking cheap shots back at you?
They've sat there and bald-faced lied about me. They're not. This is not truthful.
Have you been caught shoplifting?
I have, just like she has.
When I was 13.
She was an adult.
And are you teaching your younger daughter to shoplift?
Absolutely not.
Are you getting her to help you do that?
Absolutely not.
She was caught stealing with her daughter, and her daughter was doing it with her.
I'm sorry?
My sister was, when she got arrested for doing it, was with my little sister.
And it was your little sister that did it, not me.
Staying at my home, every time I took her to the store, she was stealing things because it's okay because she does it with my mother.
Are you serious, Nicole?
I'm serious.
That is not true.
I'm serious because I want
What
to
they
know.
found on me was what I couldn't afford to buy her. And they said, do you want me to take your daughter or do you want to go? And I didn't know it was in the bag.
You still continued to steal after that.
Oh, I did not.
I'm trying to find out what's going on because something's going on here. I read through all of the interview that you did. You were very forthcoming with us, very straightforward, as were you, all of you. And I have to say that 90% of the comments that you made were about money.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
90% of the comments were about, she won't give you money, she won't give you money, she won't give you money.
Is that what I said?
Yes.
Or did I say when we became homeless and lost our home, not one of the kids stepped up to the plate to help?
Wait, why? Help or help anymore?
Okay, I'll tell you what. How about the check I sent you for $15,900 and you cashed it and took $2,300 off the top? And when the landlady came to get the rent, I said, I'm paid up. She said, no, you're not.
She sent
you're
me that
paid
check
for
because
4 months.
My husband signed a lease for her because they couldn't.
Okay, but the point is, you guys are bickering back and forth about money while your husband and father is fighting for his life.
No, we're not we don't have any communication. There's no fighting over anything.
Well, coming up, we're going to meet Michael.
My mother said she was going to have child protective services sent to my house, and when I asked her why she would even tell me that, she said because when they show up at my door, she wants me to know who sent them.
My 3 girls, they should have said, hey, you know what, we need to go see Dad and make things right, you know, let's go visit him. And I would never have shut the door on my kids. All they had to do was just come by.
I don't know where my parents live, and my mom would never give me her address. I know what city she lives in, and that's it.
Well, Teresa has 9, count them, 9 children, ranging from ages 30 to 11 years old. She says her 4 oldest children have isolated themselves from the family, including their father, who is apparently struggling with late stages of cancer. But her daughters say Teresa's lies have caused so many problems, they just don't want to talk to her anymore.
My mom told me I was a horrible mother because all I cared about was working. She said, but that's okay because you won't have a job much longer. Later, when I went into work, a coworker of mine had let me know my mom had called in and was pretending to be a customer that I had had earlier. My mother had told my coworker that I was clearly under the influence of drugs. The reason my mom made that phone call at all was to try to get me to lose my job. My mother had also said she was going to have child protective services sent to my house, and when I asked her why she would even tell me that, she said because when they show up at my door, she wants me to know who sent them.
Where do you come up with that?
Well, Teresa's second child, Chase, is joining his sister today because he agrees that his mom is definitely the problem here. Chase, you've been listening. What do you want to add?
Her saying that we're welcome at her house is very untrue. It's not true. I know that I have a brother who works with me, and I pick him up for work, and I pick him up the street. Doesn't want me to know where you live. No. And when I call Dad and I want to see him, he tells me I got to meet him at Starbucks or meet him at the gas station.
Hold on. There's some things I just want to kind of check as they go by. Have you called attempting to get which one of you fired?
Me and my husband.
I didn't even know she had a job.
So you didn't call to try to get her fired?
Absolutely not.
Did you call to try and get Danielle fired?
Danielle? Yeah, I did.
So you did it with her, but not with her?
No,
How do you know she called to try to get you fired?
My coworker that I worked with, when we had gotten to the altercation and she said she was going to call CPS, and she said, okay, that's okay, you're not going to have your job much longer. I called my coworker and I let her know. I said, my mom's probably going to be calling in. The next day I didn't work. She called me that evening and she said, you're right, your mom called in, and she told me exactly what she said.
Okay. You have access. You can find out that that's a lie. There's that from my number. Nothing ever came in because
you don't even have that number anymore.
I love my mother and I put it on her soul.
Yeah,
I did not call her work. No, sir.
She called to get my husband fired from his job also?
No. When did I call about your husband?
Oh, before you called on me. You didn't call on him either?
No. Where are you coming up with this child protective service and stuff? Yeah, I know. You've got some ulterior motive that
no, I don't.
Getting on TV and trying to bash me is going to help you in some way.
I don't backtrack and go in circles, but it's really hard because it's a mess, you know. But also when I was sitting back there, it bothered me you denying how you treat Dad. And you talk bad to him, Mom.
You're not even around, so how do you know?
I have seen it.
How do you know?
I've seen it for. This is how it goes. No, this is how it goes, Mom.
Like that for a while.
Dad makes really good money at times.
Absolutely.
And he brings money in the home, and he makes at times more than a lot of people might make.
Absolutely.
And you love him, and you hang on his arm, and you kiss him. And when he doesn't have a penny, he's a piece of trash, no good for nothing. Why you with him?
Crippled old man.
Yes, no,
that's
what
your
I've
opinion.
seen, Mom,
Ask
for
him
years.
if I say that. Then
I should be with someone
If he's going to
else.
defend you, then I don't know why
he told me I'm not going to lie. I'll be 100% honest when I come out.
I was trying to get some of the facts here. Did you write bad checks on your son's account?
No, I don't have his checking account.
Not recently. We're not just talking about just last month. Ever. Have you ever?
Yeah.
On his?
Yes.
He says you wrote 3 bad checks on his account, each over $900.
Oh, she wrote more than that.
I wrote checks on your account?
Yeah, you did. Confront Dad. No, it's not a lie.
Bring it out. Get your bank statement.
And I told Dad, there's no money in that account, Mom. Can't be writing checks on it. And you continued to write checks on it.
I have never even had access to your checking account.
Did you put Did you put utilities and cable in his name without telling him?
No.
Did you use his toothbrush to clean the toilet, knowing that his 2-year-old?
It wasn't him. It was his girlfriend when she had done the trying to throw my husband in jail. I said that I had done it, but no, I didn't do it.
Okay, well, wait a minute. When he was in jail, whose cars were sold to pay for stuff when he was in jail? You sold the 4Runner, which he did not buy from me, and you went and bought 2 grandfather clocks, and you got a weave. When we were living in a motel, Mom, is that how, you think I'm gonna let Dad go to jail just to end up having to help? No.
Honestly, I cannot even believe the venom that you are spitting and the lies that you guys are saying.
I'm frustrated
because your dad
because
will come out here and said
we're running out of time, and we don't get to see Dad. And you can say that.
Oh, I can guarantee you, after the vile stuff that he's listening to you say, I guarantee you there won't be one of you he wants to see.
Well, let's find out. When we come back, it's been a year and a half since Michael has seen his children. He's here. We'll meet him next and see what he has to say about this whole thing.
In 2012, Michael was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. The doctors had told him he could have possibly a year or less to live.
Me and my brothers and sisters all felt like my dad would probably be the one to get us back together. And then when we found that he was sick, I just kind of felt like he's going to pass away and what's going to happen?
I think that if they stay far away, that it will be easier for them to accept.
Michael says he has to take his wife's side or else life in his household would be very stressful. He says it's been a year and a half since he's last seen Amber, Karina, Nicole, and Chase. A year and a half. He's here today. Michael, come on out. How you doing, sir?
Okay.
Take your time. Michael, I'm very proud to meet you, sir, and very sorry for the circumstance that you find yourself in, and very sorry for the circumstance that I find this family in. What do you have to add to this conversation?
I failed.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You didn't have a good partner, Dad.
Let your father speak,
Yeah.
okay?
You know what it's like to be in the middle of your children this way and your wife this way. And regardless of the problems that you guys have had with your mother, what you don't understand is I love her. 32 years, 9 of you kids.
Was it worth
and
Let him talk.
I failed as a father.
No, you didn't.
And
What do you want to see happen here? Do you want a relationship with your children?
Of course. Of course.
Do you want to be able to see them in peace and spend time with them?
Yeah, and my grandchildren too.
And
Has any of the stuff they've been saying is true? Have they not exaggerated and lied?
Well, you know what?
You need to be honest with them. So it's
Am
not
I going to
just-
be honest?
Yeah, I told them you would be.
Am I going to be honest?
Absolutely.
It's been rough. I mean, I can't point a finger, not at my wife, not at my children, because I'm the dad.
Can I ask?
Please let the man speak. For God's sakes, let the man speak. Seriously, Michael, I want you to speak. I want you to stop trying to lead and program the witness, Teresa. Let him speak. I want you guys to let him speak. Just let the man talk. Go ahead.
I think that I was a good parent, but I wasn't a responsible parent, and there's a big difference. You know, being a good parent is trying to be friends with your kids and buddy-buddy, but being responsible means discipline.
I want to tell you guys to kind of set a frame about how I look at this, both from a professional standpoint and as a son, as a child that has buried both of my parents. When they're gone, they're gone. My wife has buried both of her parents. The finality of this is beyond anything any of you can comprehend at this point. And this petty bickering back and forth is so beneath every one of you and such an insult to the dignity of this man that it is just beyond the pale.
I'm going to say this, and my children know I love them. But when I was listening backstage, I love all of you, and you know I love you. Everybody told some truth, and everybody told some lies. And when I came out here, the first thing I said is, you don't know what it's like to be in the middle of being pulled by your children and pulled by your wife, and you love them both, and there is no winning. Are you okay with me calling them or contacting them?
If you want to, absolutely.
Well, because I heard that, babe, I have to do this.
Are you
Please,
okay?
Listen. Are you
with
okay
what Nicole's done? Are you?
Listen,
Is this a different story?
I'm not okay with anything that I've heard up to this point.
Absolutely.
But I'm also not okay with this family.
All your kids.
Look, can they come by the house anytime they want to?
Of course.
Can they? I'm asking you, so...
the audience, that's because they don't know.
No.
We know.
No, you don't.
Let the man speak.
I'm asking you this as a question. I'm not saying in the past that they're empty. I'm saying as of right this minute. I don't care about yesterday.
Yes. You can have visitation with them at any time you want, but after them out here trying to crucify me and lie, you can see them anytime you want.
That's her threatening him.
No, I'm not threatening him. He can go have
No.
any relationship. All he talks about is seeing your kids, Nicole.
I miss my grandkids
He does.
and my children.
Stop
all of
asking
you
for
guys.
permission to talk
He
to
doesn't.
them.
And yeah, no, I don't. That's not going to happen. I don't want them.
It's too late. That already did.
No, you guys, real quick, if I can. Remember this. Once we leave this show, can't get together in a room like this and keep working on it. And I know you're going to say no, because Mom won't let it happen. That's why I'm asking her.
We all feel the same way. The reason that we're not is because of Mom.
We're going to take a break here, and I'm going to come back. And I said let Michael talk. When we come back, Michael and I are going to talk. I want something very clear understood here. I'll be right
back. Monday on an all-new Dr. Phill, a life of deception.
Chris said he was a pilot buying a $500,000 house.
Will he lie to Dr. Phill?
I don't like the fact that you're telling...
I don't expect you to like it.
That's Monday.
My husband, when he prays at night, he says, what would it take, Lord, for me to get my kids under the same roof? That's all he's pretty much ever wanted.
I would like my family to be able to be in the same room and just be able to do like family functions without fighting.
I wrote in because I think that this is probably, our last chance for getting our family back together.
I've asked the family to take a seat in the audience so I could just talk to you for a minute. Michael, you said a couple of things earlier. You said we need to forget about water that's under the bridge. And then you immediately said, I've failed as a father because look at where everything is. Well, that's water under the bridge too. Look, the past is over. The future hasn't happened yet. The only time is right now.
Right.
We're just in this moment, and it's you and me. Don't let the sun set without making sure that you have said everything, done everything, completed every interaction, transaction with those people you love, because you don't know if you're going to see the sun come up tomorrow. And when I see you sit here and ask your wife for permission for your children to come see you, something's way out of whack. It's either out of whack with her toxic way of having this venomous relationship with your children, or the fact that you're not claiming and demanding your right as a man and a father to embrace your children. You have that right. You have that right, and I don't care what she says here or at home. You have that right, and you must claim that right and exercise that right.
I wasn't asking her permission. I was asking her, is it okay with you if they come by?
It doesn't.
I wasn't asking for permission.
You need to close any gap you have with any child you have. Do not leave them with unfinished emotional business in their life. Do not leave them with open wounds. Do not leave them feeling like, I didn't do what I needed to do, so my father felt my arms around his neck before he went. They need to know that you feel their love. They need to know that they put their arms around you and held you and embraced you and loved you. And anybody, for any reason, that does not support that is toxic and vile and wrong, because there is nothing more healthy. There is nothing more healthy than the relationship, the bond between a father and a child, or a mother and a child.
This woman here, their mother, she doesn't stop me from seeing them as much as, like, if you go see them, you're gone, you're out. It's not like that. It's really a tough one to explain. And
you know, it wouldn't be tough to explain if this was the explanation. If you could look at me and say, you know what? My wife loves me, she respects me, and she bends over backwards to make sure that I have my children in my life for the days that I have left, and God bless her for doing that. If that were the case, it would be a real easy explanation, wouldn't it?
yes,
But that isn't the case, is it?
she loves me.
That isn't the case, is it?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean,
you don't know how to answer that because you've got to go home with the woman. But I'm telling you, I don't care.
I don't have to go home.
I know.
No,
but I'm telling you, she can't change what she doesn't acknowledge. I want her to put her feelings aside and put your feelings first. Because let me tell you, my friend, it is your time and it is your turn, and you should get to do exactly what you want to do. You deserve that. You've earned that.
I feel like I'm being pulled in two directions.
Who doesn't like to take an awesome selfie, right, guys?
Join Robin and me in the studio audience where you can try out our new state-of-the-art Tap-Snap photo booth, the next generation in event entertainment. Tap-Snap has a 42-inch interactive touchscreen and does lots of cool things.
It even has the ability to share your pics instantly on social media.
For free tickets, go to drphil.com and click Be in the Audience or call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
When a man loses his worth...
Okay, let me ask you something. He just said when a man loses his worth. Has he lost his worth to you? Has he lost his worth to you? Has he lost his worth to you?
No.
Here, come with me right now. Come with me. Come with me. You just remain seated. I want you to stand right here in front of your father. I want you to make eye contact with your father. Look him in the eye and tell him why he has not lost his worth for you. Tell him what you want and need from him in the rest of his life.
You have not lost your worth, and you never will, because you're my dad. I just want you to know that I don't blame you for anything. I don't think you've lost your worth. I just want my dad, and I just want you to be in my life, and I want to be in your life, and I want you to know your grandbabies that don't know you as Grandpa. And
do you know that I love you?
I do. I just want you in my life.
Do you understand my fear of losing any one of the people in my life I love?
I know, but right now, we're not in your life.
I know, and I'm sorry.
Do you want her in your life?
Oh, yes.
I don't think that you don't want to be in my life. I think that you can't be in my life.
That's not true, though.
I just want you to know that she wants to be in your life. I want her to know that you want her in your life.
I know she does, and I hope she knows that I do.
And is that true of you three as well? Chase, you want to be in his life?
Man, every day I tell people about my dad, my worth. He will never die. He will always live in me. The best things I am is because of my dad. And when I do good at work and they tell me, man, you're doing a good job. People I work with tell me, man, you're so good. You catch on so quick. I said, that's my dad. My dad made me this way. That will always be with me. And like I said, I've never had a better friend. Yeah, maybe we're not getting along the most right now. I've never had a better friend. That's been my best friend. I want nothing more than be in his life.
You guys, listen. This woman brought you guys into this world, and she was always a good mother.
Can you in an unqualified way, support his relationship with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, you're shaking your head no when you say that. You're saying absolutely.
Okay, well, I was animated. I said absolutely 100%. Didn't mean I was shaking my head. No, I was saying absolutely 100%. Maybe I shook it the wrong way, but I'm telling you, that's...
I just want to be sure, because and let me say, by the way, that doesn't mean that you've healed your relationship with him.
Oh, no.
Does it mean that you want to go have lunch with him or
I
whatever?
understand that.
Give him this gift.
I agree with you 100%. And when I talked to Christy, your producer, he was laying in bed next to me. I was in there because he wanted to hear the phone conversation. And he said, I need to let them know. He goes, whoever you're talking to, those kids don't care about me, Teresa. Make it clear to her. They don't care about me. Is that what you said?
You feel that way?
You really, is that what you said?
There's been times when I haven't known that they do. But it's...
But you know it now.
I know. I've always have known it.
Okay, look at them. You know it now. They're here. They're here. Accept their love. Accept their love.
I do accept their love.
We'll be right back. Just over the break, Michael and I were talking a little bit, and he said, you know what? I do know that they love me, and I do accept that. He said, but I'm part of a unit, and he said, it's kind of like if I can't fix this, if I can't fix this fracture between the mother and children, then when I'm gone, they have nobody. You hope and pray that you can come together as a family and just let bygones be bygones and just give you the gift of harmony for a period of time. That's what you want,
That's
right?
what I want. I know I can hug any of those kids, but I want to see them hug their mother, and I want to see their mother hug them. I can hug and love any of those kids, and I know that. And I know somewhere inside you know, but it's got to change from today.
That's your challenge.
That's why we're here.
The gift that he has asked you for is to say, look, and let me tell you something.
I don't want to choose between my wife and my children.
I understand it, and nor should you have to. This man is asking you for the gift of laying down arms and healing this family. He's saying, give me that before I go, so I can have some peace in my final days. And you'll either run your own agenda, or you'll decide, you know what, this situation needs a hero, and it's going to be me. And with 9 kids, you don't get to extend an olive branch. You have to drag the whole olive tree over there. You got 9 kids, for God's sakes. But the situation needs a hero. And I hope that's what you choose. We'll see. And I'm going to say goodbye now, and I'm going to let all of y'all come up and just spend a little time with your husband and your father here. So y'all come up, and I'm going to leave and just let y'all spend some time here. All right, Michael?
Thank you.
Come here. Come here, sir.